going into.
The selectmen's announcements. Anything?
Yeah. There's a school deliberative session early next February 2025, and 4-meet raffle will be November 2nd.
Whatever the
The
first
January American Legion. It's a Saturday.
They scheduled the deliberative.
Oh, they did.
Yeah, they scheduled it. I can't remember the date, but it's February.
I think it's the
Yeah,
It's
that's-
usually the first
It's when it was.
Wednesday.
It's the only day it could have been.
yeah, it is scheduled.
I didn't get the update.
Yeah, I don't know. They put it in
So
the,
it's February 5th, 2025, and the 4-meet raffle is November 2nd. Chat relation.
We have a trunk or treat this Friday. They set up around 5 or so. Rams will be there doing parking. And it starts at 6:30. And of course, we'll have the regular awards and contests. So. There's also, I wanted to make a note, public knowledge, hurt himself, last night. And so, he was going to actually attend this meeting. He's in Haywood Hospital right now. I wish him well, recovery. Yeah, fall. So anyway, Ron. So actually, someone else is coming to speak to this issue, which was the traffic on House Road. So, anyway, did you have anything? Sorry.
I'm happy to be here on time. I completed my second week.
We are happy to have you on time. Great. Let's see. Payroll and accounts payable for 10/17, 10/24. Minutes, we have tabled the minutes for 9/25. They have only come in that day, and 9/09. Have both of you, 10/09, sorry, thank you. Have both of you seen the accounts payable and minutes for the mistakes?
Yes.
Okay. All right, I'll make a motion to accept the consent agenda for the payroll, accounts payable and payroll for 10/17 and 10/24, and the minutes for 9/25 and 10/09.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
You want to have 9/09.
I'm stuck on September. Second,
Yep.
all in favor?
Okay.
Thank you.
Aye.
Citizens, it's a little early, but if, do we have any? Okay, Pat had her hand up first. Thank you.
Oh, I have 3 things, but I'll make them all real quick. Listen. First of all, what's happening, we can talk about this later. What's happening with the fire department 100th anniversary? Do you have a committee, are you asking other organizations to participate?
I'll go over that.
Okay, thank
Yep.
you. Second of all, I put cards up there by the sign-in, the Button-Up workshop, that's gonna be on November 7th, 7 PM at the Ringe Rec.
I'm sorry, what workshop?
The weatherization Button-Up workshop from the United States. So there are cards up there that give the details if anybody wants to grab one. And finally, the third thing is that there's going to be a community conversations at Franklin Pierce. It'll be in Spagnuolo Hall. We'll probably have pizza. So it'll be Monday, the 28th at 5:30. So the community, everybody's in the community is welcome. We'll probably post something on Life and Ringe, but we've had Claudia and Jim Quayle show up, which was really great. Just more people from the community, not so much connected to a church or whatever.
Right, thank you. I'll respond, fire anniversary. Right now, the firefighters association has met and is doing kind of fundraising. One of the fundraising projects was the 1936 M2, which is now on the road. It's parked at the Historical Society barn. So if you want to see it,
It's open this morning.
it was open this morning, peeking out of it. And we're still raising funds for that. The because it's well over budget, but of course, when you dig into things, you find more. But it's running well. There's a plans for a fireman's ball, if you wish, or dance with a band at some time around February. Although we have to coordinate that with Chamber of Commerce because they also have a gala that's usually. So we're going to try to make them separate enough that we're not conflicting. We also have the Memorial Day Parade that we're doing events, and then in August is the 100th anniversary. That was the month that the Fire Association was put into effect. The fire, I think, was in March or April on the common that stimulated interest in having a fire department. So anyway, those things are in the works, and we have not done more than that. Largely, we are, as with many organizations, suffering from lack of volunteers and people able to do put together things. Like we did not have a October breakfast, and it was just by the time we just didn't have the people there as when the date was there. So we are kind of looking for help on these things. People you contact would be Taylor Sepola, who is president of the association. Taylor Sepola. Taylor Sepola, who's president of the association. Joe Bevelakwa, who is the secretary, or myself, and I'm treasurer.
Historical Society is planning on having an exhibit either at the museum or in the case at the library for next year on the fire department.
Oh, very nice. Thank you. Okay. And then I give you the details on that so I can bring it to the association so we can look at it on our calendar. Thank you. So, okay. Thank you for those. Roberta.
Roberta, sir. Two things I think that you need to open meetings about the meeting being recorded. That's non-sanctioned. Also, I happened to, it's like I'm never on Facebook. And I went to the marketplace that ended up on my homepage and just happened to see the notice about applying for the solar energy exemption, to apply for it, which is really interesting. I don't think anybody has applied for it that has right now. It was voted in, 40 years ago. And the way the warrant article is, people just got it. When the assessment went out, they made note, that it had solar, but no value. So, doing a little research on this. Does the Board of Selectmen plan on doing a warrant article to re-adopt the solar energy exemption in accordance to RSA 7262?
Thought,
So things have changed.
yeah.
When the solar exemption was, and the law changed, the statute changed. When the town adopted the solar exemption, and this is the way the law is now, for purposes of an exemption under 7262, adopted prior to January 1st, 2020, the new solar systems that are on grid are not exempt. It's only the older stuff. The things that heat or cool interior building, heat water for use in a building, which includes one or more collectors. Solar energy system also means a system which provides electricity for a building, not to be hooked up to a meter for backfeeding. The new, so if you readopt it, or it's been readopted after 2020, the new definition includes, in addition to that, which I just described, a system which utilizes solar energy to produce electricity for a building. It includes all photovoltaics, inverters, and storage. They may be off-grid or connected to the grid in a net metered or group net metered arrangement. So these big systems like Sunland Farm has, like John Hunt has, and anybody that's hooked back to backfeed, those systems won't be exempt under our old exemption. So that's why I wanted to ask if our selectman was going to put a warrant article forward to readopt the solar exemption for properties.
Have you talked to our planning director?
I just found this out today.
All right.
No, it's not an ordinance, it would be put on by the board of selectmen, not the planning department.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it would be up to you. And I'd like to know if you're gonna do it, because if not, then we need to do a petition warrant.
Well, you just found out today, we just found out 3 minutes ago.
Well, no, you should have found out when you posted that people had to apply for the exemption. I mean, that's,
Actually, Monique from Habitat had mentioned that the law had changed and those exemptions are disappearing.
Okay.
well, no, it's just the big arrays
It's-
for
There are
old adoptions. I mean, we
solar
adopted in the
arrays that
seventies or
will not
eighties.
be exempt.
Hmm?
There are solar arrays that will not be exempted anymore.
They would be if we readopt the exemption.
But as it stands now, they
They will
won't.
be, if they file for an exemption.
Not the new arrays, not the ones like John Hunt has or Sunderland Farm.
I can ask.
Yeah, I mean, this is very specific.
And if we need to put forth the warrant.
What's that, 7362?
7262 is the language that says you can adopt. 7261 is the definitions of what solar energy systems are, according to when you adopted the exemption. And then it refers to a bunch of other things, but it refers to filing the same as you do for the elderly or veterans. It's the same form, PA 21. Interesting that nobody's ever applied for it.
Thank you. Pat, do you have anything to add? Do you know anything about this in more detail?
Bert is right about, what it used to be, and what it was adopted. I thought it got dropped about, I don't know, 10 or 15 years ago, but she said not. I thought everybody at Sunridge was getting an exemption for passive solar for years and years, and then they stopped it. But I'm connected to the grid. I have a net metering system, and I filled out the application. I submitted the application for the exemption. That's, really gonna hurt a lot of people who, we talked about doing a petition warrant article years ago for the Energy Commission, but at the time, we were told the appraisers don't take into consideration the value of the solar arrays. They consider it a wash. So, of course it has some value, but I felt that they were doing that to encourage adoption. So, I'm very motivated for us to adopt the new,
Sounds
version.
like we need to make, investigate it so we know exactly what
Exactly.
we're up against, since Roberta's brought it up. I read, like Pat said, the appraisers were not putting it on your car. They
Well,
would
that's
say
because-
have it, but they wouldn't put value
I
to
think
it.
that
It's
was
changed.
KRT.
Changed.
No, that was, and Dave Duvernay, because he had a file. You know, it's a little thin binder with the warrant articles and all the discussion for every exemption or credit that has been voted on and the history, of each. So KRT had access to that. And it does have a notation of solar, no added value, because we adopted the exemption and Duvernay was very clear that we had the exemption. I guess he didn't realize that you had to apply for it.
Check it out. And, thank you. Thank you for raising it. Mr. Clark.
Craig Clark, can I ask Roberta to repeat the first thing she said before she got to solar? What was the first thing you said before you got into solar?
Oh, I just said that the board of selectmen needs to open the meeting by explaining that the meeting is being recorded.
Thank you.
Thank you. And, Jim, Richard.
Jim Kreitzer, Ridge, citizen, Main Street. Do we know Dave Duvernay's file still exists?
Yes, I do.
Great.
I got cabinets.
No, that particular one. That's source information.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other citizens forum? Okay. Thank you. Old business, ARPA updates. And Casey, you're here to speak.
department.
And we had I think our notation last time was we had 81 or something. And has that been updated?
Not since the last year.
Okay. Yep.
925.
Yep. And what's the amount we have that's remaining? Because we're on a countdown right now. We're running out of time.
About $83,800.
Yep. Okay, you have website options, and I know you were looking into that. You want to address that, Lori?
I just wanted to put it out there, we talked about improving the website that we have now. And when I was trying to get some budget numbers, I can get forwarded you guys an email from Civic Plus who we have now. They are kind of moving to a new platform, so we've been losing some of the functionality with them. It's really clunky. You can't just share things from your website to Facebook or social media like you used to be able to do. We posted things before, maybe a paving bid or something that was posted Friday that didn't show up to the following Monday, so there's been a few glitches in there. So when I reached out to get the contract increase for this year, or what their plan was moving forward, I have heard at the town administrator luncheons, people were saying they were getting, all of a sudden getting an increase in their bill like 75%. So I was like, oh my gosh, so I kind of dug into it a little bit, and the email that I forwarded to you, that's what they gave me, basically saying, we don't really know what your increase is gonna be, but based on last year's, it's I think $3,100. So I figured I would start researching on other websites, and I've done that. I looked at Town Cloud. They seem to be a fairly newer website company, about 5 years up and running. Very eager. They did like a whole stand back thing, like this is what it would look like. They did have some nice functionality features, like building the agenda. You can build the agenda right on the website. So someone could do that from home, and you can also take like the minutes templates from there. So they had some great functionalities. And they seem to come in right where we are now with the budget. It wouldn't increase at all. And I don't believe there was any like down payment, big lump sum down payment. I just was a little bit nervous with them being so new and not having as much of a backbone as the other one that I would probably recommend is Revise. And the other one, they only allow, SoundCloud only allows 4 admin users. And right now we have 3 site admins, I think, that can do like the front page, so myself. But we have several other departments. Every department has their own, login. They can log in and update their web page. So I don't know how that would work. I do want to talk to her a little bit more and see if she can explain that. The price wasn't bad. I can, leave you guys with a copy of this. But the one that I would recommend is the Revise. They have nationwide, many towns in New Hampshire use them. Swansea was one. I meant to get a list, probably not trying to do that. But I can send one along. I just, again, wanted you guys to be aware of it, like the budget item. I know we have ARPA money to spend. They give 2 different options here. One with a lump sum of $14,100. That would be the whole migration from our website now, migrating everything over to the new website, plus 1 year's worth of annual hosting and maintenance.
What's the annual hosting?
After that, say we put down the $14,100. We don't have anything in our budget this year for the website. Then for the next 4 years, it would be $2,300. And we would also get any upgrades that come over the years. In the 3 years, like this is what Civic Plus is doing. Everything's upgrading, and we're getting left behind on this platform that's not very functional. So he said we would get any upgrades moving forward for the next 5 years, and the price would be $2,300, which is we're at $2,900 right now. So it'd be a savings in the website line, but you just have to have the 14,000 down. The second option is I think it's just 4,600. That signs us on with them.
Who is that? Sorry.
This is Revise.
Okay.
It'd be 4,600, and then for the next 5 years, it would be the same, 4,660 annually.
So in other words, you could pay up front and then have a reduced, which could be covered by ARPA. So we would benefit from a reduced by half. Anyway, I got to go to the fundamental question. We had Civic Plus, and it was an upgrade over what we had before.
It was. It really was.
Functionality.
Yeah.
And so I understand your nervousness about Civic Plus and its apparent decline. And there was something about that there's another level or something that's
Yeah,
getting.
I did sit through a webinar. I think they're called Civic Engage, which is where they're going to. They want you to go up to that, I forget what it's called, Jubal something, I don't know. And I sat through an hour-long webinar, and the cost of that was $20,000. And that was the annual. Cool. So I'm like, okay, thanks, but no thanks. So I just wanted to, I'll email you all of these, and I just wanted to put it out there. We can do nothing. We can keep going with the $3,100 and it's fine. We're making it work. Or we have options.
Okay.
So,
Thank you.
so I cleared, the first one you proposed, was 14,000 upfront to be merged over, and that gives us a year.
And if that includes the first year.
And it's
we'll-
2,300 after that.
Yes,
For
for
the
5
next,
years,
for the next 4 years or 5 years?
4 years.
Okay, 4 years, so that's 23,000. The other one you did was, 4,600 upfront.
4660. It says year one, you're gonna pay 4660, which is 20% of the project cost plus 1 year annual option.
And that's 18.4 over 4 years.
Yeah, it's 5 years, it's 23,000.
Yep, exactly.
So they're
Yeah,
basically equivalent.
and he is,
It's just
he
the
is
upfront
willing to
cost.
work and do other options too. If he wanted to do half of that, he would be, whatever, he can propose whatever. If you want to sit through a webinar with him, you can do that. The same thing with Town Cloud, they offer to do, you know, a webinar, and I do want to talk to her again, because I think she, you know, I shared my concerns with the user, the amount of users, and then each user that you add is $900. So I don't know what she's gonna propose back to me, but she's gonna clarify for me.
Is that the town club?
And a lot of towns are using them, but not as many as they are. So that was
Just like to know how this fits into ARPA funds, or does it?
I think communication would be,
If it did, that'd be great.
It would reduce what we're paying now, possibly get an upgraded one, but I'm very nervous about, you know, the construct platform for us. So hopefully it's what we want as opposed to.
I can get some other towns, I'll send you guys the links to some other towns that are using it. And you can, New Hampshire.
Right.
Look at the other towns.
Okay, so, well, we should give that also, that we lost on the last one was our archive, for minutes and things.
Right.
Everybody goes back at least 10 years. The archive, we don't. It is very handy to have that archive.
I could also ask them about archiving more, because I know obviously we can do it from here, but to have staff be uploading these things, it's hard, but I could ask what would it cost to upload, you know, the last 10 years? Maybe they'll do it. Could ask.
If you can follow through on this, this is a good possibility. So we'll keep this on until we have a possible one. And that would be, I'm sorry, and the amount was, the nut was 14,000? Yeah, 14K.
100.
Right,
Now, what was that vendor's name?
so that would just
Revive.
70K. Jim, did you have something?
I have an observation, because kind of background. They had a concern about number of admins, number of departments with access. So usually there's several levels of access. Admin is usually reserved for a very small number by that name. So it's a definition, and then you could have department heads, then you have quote users,
Right,
and then the town.
yeah,
Levels of action should be simply who can do what.
right, exactly. Yeah, we have 3 site admins now, but there's probably 25 other people that have access to their page.
Right.
Yeah.
But there's usually, so admins usually adjust everything, and the department heads will work with their department.
Yep.
So that level of access,
Mhm.
so that may be the definition, when you say we have a limited number of admins.
Right,
That's actually good from the security standpoint,
okay.
but then each department head can access at their own page, for instance.
Sort of like having people with master keys and so we might find that there's another grade of user that they have that they can know about. So, thank you for that. Okay. Town office server and computer needs. So, for the background, we had a replacement program. Essentially, it's a 8-year cycle. We have about 40 computers or thereabouts, and we're replacing 5 a year. And that's what we're budgeted for. We got on this about 5 years ago. We got a pretty good routine. We got a lot of the old ones done. And I believe we need to continue this, otherwise we're going to the same situation where we have 10-year-old computers. One of the problems with that is that if you have a server and they come on periodically, it's a huge purchase and it's for a couple computers and it's a bump in your level budget. So we do have some server needs that we're brought to our attention. And could you share Greg's issues with that and, you know?
Yeah, so I just had asked him, about what would be the first need. I guess we have 3 servers, one here at the town office, one at the fire department, and one at the police station. And obviously the one here at the town office is the biggest one. And I said, well, which one would you recommend first? Because each year we also purchase the warranties on them. So I had him, see what the cost of the warranty was. I don't know if it was for the town office, it was $475. You should kind of compare, based off of how old it is. I think these were all purchased in 2019, Carl. I think that's what he said. All
They were.
Yeah, so we kind of like to get on, I think, a staggering rotation, I think would be beneficial. So he is saying if you want to start and afford it, to go with the server for the town office here, which is $7,330. So then obviously we would not get the warranty and $500 that would be go away. We just, these 2 warranties will come out of our regular budget. So, but Carl, we thought maybe we put it through our funds there. So it'd be $7,330 for the server. And Carl also thought it would be a good idea to, we're purchasing 3 computers out of the budget this year and 1 laptop. And I believe it was 2 computers, a server and 2 computers that
Correct.
might be beneficial to put through our fund.
Which would get it up to a little over 10,000. That 2 computers and a
Yeah.
server.
Yeah, sorry.
So I'm doing my countdown here, which would put on 10. And just in terms of keeping our rotation, so. And then if we have a server next year, and we can buy less computers that year. So question is though, why do we need new servers? And I asked that to Greg, and he's talked to you about it also. He said it's largely because of the warranty. So do you have any more to add on that?
Other than nothing lasts forever and storage, no. And basically, each year I think that the older it gets, the more the warranty goes up. I don't really know. I can ask him, but
Are these all digital, or they?
you just don't want to get stuck with.
No, they're solid state.
So they'll solve.
They're solids.
Okay.
I thought they were. Well, maybe I'm wrong.
Should check into that.
That's a good point.
Yeah, that's a big question, because solid state lasts for a long time, it's the other stuff wears out.
It's a lot better and a lot faster.
So it's not-
Or
it's a-
if it's not,
for each
make sure these are.
Reliance or.
Yeah. So is Greg Cinnamon? Okay. I think those are good uses. I don't know.
And I think
The rest of the board.
the goal would be to start staggering them. Like instead of purchasing 3 servers in 2019, check to stagger them.
Right. Well, we had a crisis on one of them, and I thought it was largely our. We didn't have good protection in terms of computer security.
Firewall?
Yeah, it was the firewall. Yeah.
Yeah, I heard that was like a year ago.
Right. Okay. Did you have something to add on that?
Yeah, another one that should be added into communications if they're accepted.
Yeah.
Yeah, so are you saying put the 3 laptops in there as well? It's the server.
So we were purchasing 3
We could do
computers
that
out
out
of
of
our
budget.
budget.
Right, we're doing 3 computers, 1 laptop out of budget, and 2 computers and a server out of our budget. So
So the additional.
that's a proposal, but, once you,
So the additional cost of the 2 other computers out of, what would be how much?
It was, I just did it. The total cost was 10,508, but the 2 computers would be
About 3,000.
3,000.
31,700.
Two quick things.
Yeah, please, Jim.
So,
Jim Kreitzer,
Jim
Main
Street,
Street.
Main Street, citizen.
Range.
So, this is my bailiwick, 50 years experience. So, 2 things, supply chain for parts, if one needs to be replaced, is probably your first concern for the month. The second concern is interoperability between the servers. Got to make sure that they're operating, so they talk to each other. Because like you're setting them up as a clustered network of information so that it's transparent. So that's the operating thing to worry about.
Forgot I did mention
The
that.
advantage you have when you upgrade all at once is you have that. But if you do staggered upgrades, that can be an issue.
Yep. I thought the police was separate, and it does not communicate with the others because it's confidential information that can't be shared. So, and I don't know about fire, if that is separate also. That's why we have one there, but I know police for sure is a separate entity and is intentionally so.
Right, but it's connected to that.
It is.
That's your problem.
Well, our network in here,
Internet.
oh, yeah. Of course. All right. All right,
So where are we gonna go with that?
you ready to go with that?
I mean, where are we gonna go with it? Are we gonna do it, or are we gonna sit and wait till December 31st comes around, 25th, whatever the date is?
Yeah. I'm ready to go with that.
And we got like 3-4 meetings.
Do you want to make a motion?
We need to be positive that this is gonna be covered with.
We
I
had,
would agree with Bob on that. I mean,
If it's guaranteed to be covered under our, by our contacts, the state and the feds, then it sounds like a good use.
we had that conversation with Rick before, but I will confirm with that, the next day or two. But I think we can make a motion, pass it, and revoke it if, I'm doing a purchasing tomorrow. So, if there's an issue, we can pull it. So,
if you've got a computer over purchased before,
we have,
so I mean, I don't have a date on here, but it's
Well,
about 10 grand
Yeah, we did
before.
laptops. We're doing laptops.
right, and it was largely work at home and things like that.
I don't think it was involved.
It has in the past, we want to make sure. They have opened it up more. And I had that conversation with Rick, but we can confirm that. But I think a motion is warranted right now, and if we find otherwise, I will first to propose suspending it, because I don't want to get stuck with it either. Although we will eventually get stuck with these because these are computers that are needed and servers that are needed. Right now, we're taking a shot at getting it paid for by Casper, Wyoming. So.
The difference is we don't have the money in the budget this year for those things.
We don't have the budget for the servers, right?
The money is available through the ARPA funds, through the communications section. We can get a guarantee on that.
Okay,
And the website options and the town office server and computer needs should be brought up.
all right,
It really looks like 10 grand on the office server, and it looks like about up to 15 for the website option to convert over.
Correct.
Yep.
If that is possible, it actually covers us for the conversion over for the website and 1 year. We wouldn't put in the budget next year.
We just put in the maintenance fee,
Okay.
$2,300.
So
Would you like
should
to-
they be accepted? It looks like about up to $15,000 and the other one up to $10,000.
Right.
That's what it looks like.
Well, it was quoted 10.5, would you say 10.5? Lori, for the computers and the server.
10-4, and about
And that's installed.
Yeah, Brenda's all over.
Yeah.
Well, we gave her that for the time.
So then it would be up to $11,000. Yeah, no,
Would you prefer we hold off on the server and convert until we get a very definite from Rick?
absolutely. I
Okay,
mean, we can earmark the money though.
okay, let's do that, and then we'll get the okay, and we'll pass that in 2 weeks.
Just put it into my head, so we're gonna earmark 15,000 conversion for the website. For the first year's usage, and up to 11,000 for one new server and 3 computers.
Yep.
So that's,
So we need a motion to move forward.
15,000 and 11,000.
I'll respect the idea that we'll get a confirmation, but we're cutting it out right now. So we're putting it in our plan, and we can make the motion in 2 weeks to go ahead with it. Okay? That'll get us down to 58,000 remaining in our
We should have-
department.
Be able to have more in writing, server people, and Ray can guarantee you the solid state equipment,
Exactly.
okay?
And please ask that question, I won't be here.
Yeah. This way the service should last a bit longer, quite a bit longer. This isn't
Okay.
a huge computer system.
Video live streaming proposals. We have, I had asked for, do we have 3?
Well, we have the town hall screens and then the other 2 that we sent out. I think there's 2 different ones there, one year and for 2 year. And then the other options, Tom, can you elaborate on that? I forget what they were. There was $10,000. The other 2 quotes or proposals.
If we buy equipment and do it internally, I don't have my notes exactly, but, I can refer to my report.
Yep. And Tom, I've read your report, I think it's good. I've looked into doing it ourselves, and I just don't see it as practical. In terms of volunteers to make sure it's implemented and everything else, so I'm kind of leaning in terms of getting a service. But do we have 3 quotes from services?
There's really only,
It's the only one I could find that would really do it without us buying a lot of equipment and then have managing it call.
No, I understand that, but what did you hear from them in terms of the other options? You found a great source. And what was the annual cost on that? I thought it was 24.
Yeah, I mean, to buy, I guess I'm trying to understand your question specifically.
The question is, the proposal you found is how much?
Well, this is
thought it
what
was
I
36.
recommended, and basically from the other people that I contacted, one was up in the 60 grand range to install it, and it's still operated internally. And they do it through a Zoom platform, they actually record it and then upload it, they have staff handle it. And then the other one was around 10 grand in equipment, and again, it's managed internally, from a storage and everything standpoint.
What was the monthly cost on those?
It was internal cost, basically your staff and
Oh, so there was no,
once you buy the equipment, but it's, again, you have to manage it, so I think you're gonna have a pretty substantial cost over the course of a year, having, you know, each, board or anything like that, manage it, it's gonna, you're gonna have to store it, put out 5 years or 10 years worth of, recordings, basically. And so I think it's really a decision to have someone that comes in and puts the equipment in. That's why I recommended this, of all the towns that I contacted, they used them, were very happy with it. And, if we don't like the service, we can bail, if they come in, install it. And
And the
they
equipment doesn't
store
belong
5
to
years,
us.
they store 5 years, basically, it's a very simple setup. Every board would, schedule a meeting, turn the switch on the wall on, and it happens. And you just shut it off at the end of the meeting, and everything else kind of goes to them. You basically put a link out there, on your agenda, and anybody can watch it live, and then it's stored out there on the cloud for anybody to go back and review, past meetings.
Who manages the site in terms of,
The owner, I've spoken to the owner of this company, but it actually seems like a pretty nifty niche, because there are very few people that have to look, that actually do the streaming part. They want to sell the equipment, put it in for big bucks, but they don't really manage. And this owner will manage it. I pick him up, I call him, he picks up the phone, and says, "You don't like it, take the camera off the wall and send it back." And I think it was 30 something, there's a lot of towns that use it, and everyone that I reached out to, like, I think it was 8 or 10 of them, had no complaints at all. And some of them actually switched from what they were doing internally to this group, from the simplicity of it. So, I think, you know, I certainly get chastised for doing it, but I have to be very honest with you, I've got 100 something signatures, in very short time, of citizens that would really appreciate our town, streaming these. Although I get called out at every single board meeting that I'm into for doing it, I don't really go back and look at them. I have to be honest, I went and looked at the last Selectman meeting because I came so late after my class. And it was so short, you guys ended the minute I got it. But I notice, if I go and look, there are actually more people watch the videos, than actually attend the meetings, which is pretty staggering to me. So I think it would be a significant benefit to the taxpayers and the citizens of the town to have. I don't think we need to do all the boards, but I think our elected boards, Selectmen, Planning Board, Budget Committee, and ZBA are the primary boards. The other committees could use it as well. This is simply go into the computer and schedule it. It's literally a switch on the wall. It says live stream on off. It's pretty simple.
I understand that, but in terms of how is the company putting that information on our website, or do we have to, once it's recorded, what happens?
So it would go to, you would have a link on, say, our agenda,
Yeah,
and it would go out to their site, and you would look, you go down through the list of towns, and you pick range, just like you would do an Avatar. And you click on range, and then you have everything. You'll see a list of the meetings.
our meetings are on their servers.
It's a link that's embedded in our website.
Okay, that's what I'm looking for. Thank you. Okay. But it's on their server.
They'll store it for us. We don't have to plug it
Right.
into our system. It's kind of a separate thing. But I asked the question because, Bob brought up my grading information. I said, well, what if we're unhappy? We don't want to lose the data. And they would transfer data to us, if we decide to bail on it.
Wouldn't they all be on our website anyway? Like each, you could click on each.
That would fall under, where's the quote? You have a quote on there, Bob? I might have an old one here. They would call that on the social media plugin. So you have to pay a little additional fee for that, which we can do. They do it for several people. But it's an additional monthly fee of $25. and we can have it plugged into our website or social media, Facebook or whatever.
I'm sorry, what plugged in?
It's a social media plugin, so it actually goes out to our website.
Right, gotcha.
Yeah, correct. So you can go and look at it there and watch it. I can go either way. I think if we wanted to spend the extra $25, it's $250 or a little more per year, it's not a lot. But we start out with letting them manage it if we want to put add-ons. I think there's some other benefits that you can. They're actually pretty neat, but you can get a transcript of the meeting for a fee per hour. Like we had a 2-hour meeting, you can get a transcript of it. They're trying to create an AI algorithm of some sort that condenses that multi-page transcript for meeting purposes, for minute purposes. But we could take this transcript and convert it into our own short budget. I think there's things you have to play with. That we could utilize out of the system.
Some of these translations aren't particularly great, so, you may.
Well, it's gonna be a big, long word thing,
Right.
and you're gonna have to dissect it, just like you have to
Exactly.
dissect the recording, or you have to dissect when the planning board already records all the meetings. So I think putting it out to the public is important. I think we try to learn how to use it as well. So
I'm still hung up on this idea that what happens if we tell them we don't want the equipment, take it out of here? Do we lose all that records of, meetings?
no, like I said, they'll transfer that data. I asked that question specific.
That's what I want to hear, yeah, and
Yes.
they'll transfer it back to us.
And if we put it on a social media page, we get it anyway.
Yeah.
So it's probably the one thing that I did look at, as I'm doing it, it's sort of one directional. They're gonna put a microphone, you probably do it. It's a picture type of setup is what I'm recommending. So that, the primary camera will, face the board, the table. And, there'll be an alternate camera behind us that will come up like a picture on your TV. There'll be a little block in the corner where you can see the audience. And so someone from the audience speaks, like if Roberta wanted to speak. Anybody watching the live stream can click on that picture of that other camera and watch Roberta speak in full size. And then they can click back to the location.
That's an option though, because some people might object to it. I don't know. I wouldn't reject it on that basis, but.
Well, I understand that, but I think, it's not, the people at the meeting don't control it, it's someone watching it. You see, so we're just saying this board table basically being streamed, but
Right.
the ability for someone watching it from home can see when the audience speaks, they can see the audience speak.
Right.
Rather than see the backs of their heads.
And didn't we have that with the owl here in some meetings? And the owl does that also, right?
Whoever's speaking goes.
Yeah.
Correct.
Got it, okay. So, did you want to make any more comments before we release this to the public?
Yeah, I'm totally not in favor of live streaming. I'm totally not in favor of doing this. We're already getting it done for free and we don't have any of the liability associated with it. Not any. The person who's recording and broadcasting this right now is the one totally live. But any problems that are created, like copyright infringements, et cetera, really got to look at the FBI website to look into what the liabilities are and things like that. And there are several liabilities, a couple who were pointed out already. There are people who have moved into a town trying to avoid an abusive relationship. If they're gonna be picture in picture, they're gonna be out there for the world to see and found.
Yes, Jim, you had your hand up.
Just another administrative concept on these things. the, when they do these things, they're usually stored on the cloud. So if you wanted to move services from one to another, the information wouldn't move. So it doesn't actually move down to your server, for instance.
Right.
And that's a good thing, because video takes a tremendous amount of space. And so you want to keep it in the cloud. How you get to it would change from service provider to service.
Roberta, you
Yeah, so, I know when other towns do this. I really think that you need to check with our legal counsel about filming the land use boards in particular. There are issues where there are court proceedings, challenges to decisions made, and there can only be one record of that meeting, and that's the minutes. Having this stuff out there for 5 years, somebody can pull that record and go to court and say, this is what was said. They didn't include this in the minutes. The other thing is, planning board's rules of procedure, after the minutes are done, the tape is destroyed. There is no more tape after the minutes are approved. And now you're talking about having them out there for 5 years. So I think that town council needs to be queried. I don't care if other towns are doing it. I think that there are certain liabilities, issues, and the fact that it is a selectman that's doing it, I think is problematic. Even though he's a private citizen, he's still a selectman, and he's a selectman 24/7. So I think it needs to be checked into. I don't think that we should be exposing the town to any unnecessary liabilities.
Carl, I'll respond to that. The
Yeah, go ahead.
RSA is loud and clear in that all public meetings have full capability of being recorded. And I don't think any legal counsel, and I think it's actually, if I'm not mistaken, we questioned Gary already, and I do not have his email, but he sent an email that said it is absolutely perfectly fine to record, and it's allowed. It's a courtesy to the public simply to notify them that it is a live stream recording.
And most towns tend to do this anyway.
Not all.
As a follow,
Not all.
No. Jeff,
as a follow-up,
Jeffrey was queried this morning. In fact, the selectman called Ronnie this morning. They record all the meetings. They don't let anybody know that they're being recorded. There's no sign, there's no posting, there's no anything, there's no announcement.
It's not recorded, it's not required. And so, as Gary suggested, that it's more a courtesy to the public. And I think certainly the public's been notified as many times as I've recorded these meetings. So I think, we can kick it back. There's a lot of citizens that appreciate it. I've received personal phone calls saying thank you for doing it. I couldn't go to the meeting, but I was interested in what was on the agenda. And I think, the ARPA money is to benefit people in the town as well. I think we should utilize it for that purpose. We spend a lot of money on all the various departments in the town, and now I think, we should put a little bit towards the citizens in the town. And certainly, I was elected by constituents that were interested in this. And I think it's a pretty broad base of people that would appreciate it if the town did it and sanctioned it as a benefit to the citizens for pretty easy money. Okay. So I think we should move forward with it.
Okay, thank you.
And I'll be happy to make a motion that we do it. I think we should decide whether we want to, we're going to utilize ARPA money. It's been approved by the technology committee, and they recommended it. And Rick has also recommended it, that it would fall under communications easily. And I think we've got to make a decision since we don't have a lot of extra budget stuff for this kind of thing, we should utilize ARPA. And, we decided to go 1 year or 2 years. And $3,600, would say that we probably waste $3,600 to get it put in place and start doing it.
So this is town hall streams will provide the town of Branch, New Hampshire, a system that will provide real-time, on-demand playback of any meetings that are broadcast on the local cable channel. Is that correct?
We don't have a cable channel,
That's what it's supplying.
it goes live.
But it'll stream anything that's on our local cable channel.
So, yep, I had a couple people we haven't heard from, and I want to give them a chance.
I haven't seen.
Yep.
This must be just someone, usually someone
Right.
that you ask them.
Pat, you had your hand up.
Pat Martin, Barrow Road Ranch. I strongly support the idea of, allowing people to attend our meetings virtually. People with children at home, it's hard for them to get a babysitter to come to the meeting. Elderly people, including myself, as it gets darker, it's more nerve-wracking driving here at night in the winter. So having that option, I think it's very helpful. I mean, other towns have it, it's kind of infuriating that we can't.
If I can, Bob, you're on reading one capability here. The second paragraph says, meetings will be streamed live and available on demand, playback via streams.com. And that's what I had the links and everything can be put on the TOSA
So I
website.
saw the second.
So we could broadcast it on the cable channel if we had it, like Switch does, but we do not, so it will be live streamed via the web.
Thank you. Judy?
Well, I find this very interesting because if we go back to the minutes of August 16th of 23, it was Helen that requested video recordings, and Roberta actually suggested where to locate the video camera back behind us. So we've gone through 14 months. That's roughly 28 board meetings that we've been talking about this and kicking it around. Now, really, when the soccer ball went out of the court was when Tom came on board. That was when the opposition arose. And that's where we're at. It's a power struggle right now with citizens and a new board member. The new board member has taken it upon himself to record. Now, I looked a little while ago, and there is somebody watching tonight's meeting. There was a ZBA meeting last night. The same time, there are 44 views of last night's meeting right now. So people are watching. At last night's meeting, there were about 7 at the most present individuals. And at last night's meeting at the ZBA, an applicant stated something. His lawyer stated the same thing based on the minutes, and it was incorrect. And 3 of us in the audience had been at that planning board meeting and witnessed what was said. And they corroborated through that discussion that the lawyer and the applicant were giving incorrect information. It was the video record that is important. It's a power struggle, folks. That's what we're dealing with right now.
Thank you, Judy.
Can I go back to the August meeting?
Go ahead.
That was mentioned to have it recorded here on the camera so that it can be transcribed to minutes and then deleted, the same as planning board does today. That was what was mentioned in August. not to live stream,
Okay,
not to keep the recordings.
that
To have it
brings,
available for the secretaries to transcribe.
Thank you. I'll add something to what you said. There was a CBA meeting last night. I would love to attend it, but I was at the candidates forum at the same time. And so it is a way that people can attend two meetings simultaneously. But anyway, yeah, Jim,
So you make this quick.
please.
So I have a dog in the fight. Yeah, so I understand Bob's concern. Usually, these sorts of things are solved by a sign that says, well, this meeting's recorded, video surveillance, whatever. We now live in a world where if you believe that you can walk down the street and not be video, you're in a dream. The Market Basket has installed the most sophisticated surveillance system ever to safeguard the individual, which is getting out of control. You know, this person. So, you can kick this can down the road for a while. I think the original intent, as Bob indicated, was so that the minutes could be recorded accurately, and then it's in written form and you're done. The issue of people not being able to get here physically is a growing problem and has always been. I'm on the side of anything that allows more citizens to participate in government of the town is a good thing for all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so I'd like to close it to the public at this point. You have one more? Thank you.
Just as a point of order,
Point of order.
we were offered a public access channel several times by Pine Tree and by Chesterfield Cable, but the town never acted upon it. So there was the possibility now with Spectrum in the town, there's a better possibility that we can get a public access channel and things could be broadcast there. Secondly, with regards to Roberta, the minutes or the recording of the planning board could be deleted when you make the minutes finalized, because I understand your concern. Finally, I keep seeing these red herrings being thrown into this discussion. There is no presumption of privacy if you're in a public meeting, period. End of discussion.
Is that why they call it a public meeting?
Say again?
Is that why they call it a public meeting?
Are you being facetious?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. No, I understand the concerns of privacy. I tend to lean in that way with not having cameras on people as they're speaking unless they want to be filmed. They can move to a location where they could be filmed. That's fine. But I'm sorry. We're back on the board.
No, I asked for a follow-up quite a while ago.
Okay, I'm sorry. So anyway, I think we need lines. And some of the concerns are legitimate. Town council, I thought, I can't see as he's going to give us anything that's going to change one way or another. Although if you want to insist, we could delay with that. Otherwise, I'd like to move forward and put this to a vote.
I'm willing to make a motion. I think we can keep kicking it down the road. We've kicked it down the road for a bunch of months. And I think as it's indicated, it involves a fairly large amount of the community. I think Carl, Carl's wife has indicated that, 40 people watched that meeting last night.
Great.
CBA, and there were 5 citizens in the room.
Yep.
5.
Yeah, I know that.
And I'm one of them, and Kellen was one of them. And there are a number of other meetings. I did not have time today to go and see how many other views have been on maybe a dozen videos or recordings that I've taken. But I would guess that it's probably in the hundreds over all So I make a motion that we move forward and I think,
Specify the motion.
this is, what I think we should do. I think we should utilize these public funds and make a motion that we, put a 2-year contract out there, with town hall streams, to do live streaming, and, move forward with it. It's, $7,200, and we can make a decision if we want to put the social media plug in. I think you need to decide on that. If you want to do it separately, we can add it down the road, but I think we need to start somewhere, and I think we should drop it, get them to put it in and move forward with it, learn how to use it. So my motion is to enter a contract with Town Hall Streams for 2 years, at $7,200 and move this forward.
Okay. I will second the motion. And I do have one follow-up question. The 7,200, though, we couldn't claim with ARPA for a 2-year contract.
Yes.
We could,
Okay, correct.
okay,
The monies have to be obligated, and if we enter a
Exactly.
contract, it's obligated.
2-year contract, so,
It would be considered a contractual agreement covered by ARPA.
discussion? You're-
We'll all discuss this.
Yeah, thank you very much. All right, I'll put to a vote, all in favor, aye,
Aye.
all opposed,
I,
2-1. All right, speaking of not being able to, I would like to move a new business item up right now, if you don't mind. We have a mother of young children who need to go to bed.
No, I mean, paying a babysitter.
Oh, you're paying a babysitter. Well, then I guess you can wait till 10.
we'll do this rest of the stuff quick.
Could we move up the roadway committee update, crosswalks and speed reduction, Thomas Road? So, there was a committee meeting today, roadway committee, and it was a request for a speed reduction on Thomas Road to, what was it, 25?
I've got the minutes here.
Thank you. Yes, you want to report it out? Acting chair,
Well,
not the chair.
I would propose that, this business do first, and she's paying big money for a babysitter. And I can report on the committee's actions.
Okay,
Is a member of your family involved?
Smart
In combination with Ron Osmo, who could not attend, we brought a concern about Thomas Road, surrounding Sunwind Farm in the south end of the community, and the high rates of speed that people would go by, particularly in times like this, the CSA pickup on Wednesdays, annual events. It's quite dangerous. We have lots of kids, we have farm animals, we have tractor equipment. And, you know, speeding is an issue regardless, but bringing it down to 25 miles per hour, I think would support slower speeds. In addition, having a crosswalk, which would be a visual cue that there is a lot of activity back and forth on the road. That's
and with a crosswalk, you could put out cones, would also help you. Not in the middle of the road, but on the side. So,
And then it was brought up that that whole stretch on Thomas Road from the stop sign from the beginning of South Monadnock, there are 2 very dangerous curves there's been plenty of accidents. 10 years ago, one fatal one. We've had power outages as a result of accidents. So the request is that we extend that 25-mile-an-hour zone out to where the old Walter Beak farm was, where you have that basically 90-degree turn there. And that was, where do I stop when you start? The phone's
Keep going, you're
accepted?
making a good case.
Great. I think everybody in the committee understood the problem, was agreeable,
our
and
police chief was there too.
police chief was there. And
My chief was there.
and there were also many citizens of the road who spoke to the problem. So the motion was made and accepted that we reduce the speed
for that section from the beginning of Thomas Road past the Walter Beek, the old Walter Beek Farms, 25 miles per hour.
Correct, it's not the beginning of Thomas Road, but it was at the intersection of Perkins and Thomas Road.
Correct, that's right, where Thomas Road.
Thank you. Okay, just,
And then there was a second motion for a crosswalk. That too was accepted.
2 crosswalks.
That's right. And Mike came by after that meeting, marked those off, and they're painting next week. So it sounds like
Pending board.
as long as there's board approval, we should be able to move on this quite quickly. Which we are so grateful and very excited about. Thank you.
So essentially what the roadway committee did is Anna said, we've agreed and we would like to ask the select board if they would agree with us on the class 5 road to reduce the speed to 25 miles as delineated by what Anna was saying, from the intersection of Perkins Road to the old Walton Beach Farm. But in addition to that, it looks like Robbins Road itself is a major problem. And I was criticized because I tried to keep the discussion to only Thomas Road, which was on our agenda. But there is a concern about the whole of Robbins Road being a shortcut for people coming from certain parts of Massachusetts to access the town of Rinch, Hannaford, Demoulas, Walmart, and the other places there. So there's a bigger problem there that we need to discuss, and I propose that we have a public about the streets in town. And to wit, this evening as I was walking the dog before we came to the meeting, this young man comes down the road up by Edith French's old house, and he runs on the throttle, and he must have been doing close to 50 miles an hour when he passed her house. I did call it into the police department, it's Rachel asked. You'll never find the kid unless I can catch him, get a license. I don't think the bike was licensed. So we have a speeding problem in the town of Rinch that's throughout the town. Robbins Road was discussed, Fitzgerald Road was discussed, and a number of other roads. Rachel brought up the accident at the intersection of Cathedral Road and 119. So we do have a problem. Rachel said that with a full staff, maybe she could do more enforcement. And she also said that they're going to be less lenient with people, and they're starting to ticket people aggressively to try and stop the speeding. The other issue that was brought up was people going through stop signs or red lights. Every day I see someone going through a red light in town. So the bottom line with regards to this issue is the roadway committee agreed, and we would like to ask the select board to agree with us and allow the town to reduce the speed from 35 to 25. And then we'll probably come back later on and ask possibly for the whole road to slow down. One other thing Rachel mentioned was that she does not have the money to document speeds that are currently being executed on these roads. We did not budget the software for the 2 speed measuring devices. They're approximately $1,500 each a year. And in her proposal for the budget next year, there will be a $3,000 request to be able to access the data that these devices will record. With that information, then she can make, and the town can make more intelligent decisions about what we should do. So again, the request is that the select board go along with us for the crosswalk, number 1, and number 2 for the reduction of speed.
Thank you. There was a question I wanted to direct to Lori May, but I will follow you this time, I promise. How are we on budget? I know police is a little tight, but can she find it in her budget now? That was a question she was talking about this afternoon. Okay. See if she can get it out of her budget now. I think the rest of the budget will be fine. Police is the only one who's really worried about.
Which money are you taking out of? Taking money out of the police budget?
For the police study. If she can find it in her budget, she couldn't put it in her budget this year to get.
We did have 2 pieces of equipment.
Yes.
Speed.
Apparently there's software that's involved that she doesn't have.
That's what she said.
The machines, if I can clarify, I was at the meeting, basically they record data, time, date, And so they can go out randomly and sit there for 30 minutes and not see a single speeder because the cruiser's there, but they can kind of get a sense of when they need to be there more accurately, whether it's 7 in the morning or it's 2 in the afternoon or it's 7 at night. They can target speeding based on the data that they collect.
What I'm saying is I've already seen those things. I've seen the figures. I've monitored those from the machines that we already have.
She said they don't stay.
Well, let me try to clarify.
It is very impressive. I guarantee you that.
I think what she said is that, they show you your speed when you go by, but they don't record it, that she can get the, information for, which is kind of nuts, but it's basically, a signal to let you slow down, shows you your speed, but it doesn't give all that information to her
It
computer.
did.
The one I
It does.
witnessed, it said what the speed was as the person approached.
Well, we
And
didn't.
what they slowed down to. It gave everything.
Okay,
That's what we had already, that I've already witnessed.
well, then I need to talk to Rachel tomorrow. Find out.
They just look like the speed limit signs. It tells you the speed limit is 35 miles an hour.
But this is beyond the purview of actual motion here, but you're right, thank you for bringing
And
that.
that is recorded, that speed limit sign, you
Okay.
can set it up for any speed. It records the speed. And it records the time of day, the day of the week.
Okay,
Okay.
I will get her to clarify. Thank you.
I'm just saying, no, but I've already seen the reports.
May I address the issue?
No, well, first of all, I'll call on her.
Interestingly enough, I was gonna ask, where are our machines? Because I knew we had 2 of them that did that. The speed limit thing. So I know that this was discussed, and Mike's the one that said that in the state of New Hampshire, rural roads are 35 miles an hour unless there's a traffic study and engineering report done to make the speed less. So Rachel, if Rachel was at roadway, that needs to be clarified because I agree. I mean, we got a problem on Main Street. Yeah. It's all over town. But that was brought up that, and I know that if you drive through Temple, they've got 25-mile-an-hour speed limit. We have a few, Payson, I think is less than 35, but that was done years and years ago. But Mike said at one meeting that, it was Loop Road. They wanted the speed limit reduced, and he said 35 unless you have an engineering study done.
Is that what you were?
I personally looked into it,
Oh, okay,
and she's correct. The
So-
state statute says that the town can post whatever it wants, but legally,
Oh, okay.
at 35 is the state lowest speed, except in a school zone.
okay. So what is your point though in terms of this? Is it,
Well, I think you should still post. I agree with this.
right,
Enforcement is a trigger.
That's the problem, is that
right.
if you can't have it less than 35,
And maybe that's what Roberta was referring to in terms of needing the $3,000 to make it an official study with the tab. I don't know, but we'll find out.
no, that was for those, I think the software is probably shot on the speed limit signs.
Okay,
That's what, isn't it, that what the problem is there's, the software is not working that's in the signs?
I have to address this one.
okay,
What Rachel said was that, Bob, in the past, they were doing that. She does not have current software that'll allow those machines to do that work now. So it does exist, and it did exist in the past, but now she cannot do it because it does not have current software. Exactly what she said today.
So she needs
And
new equipment.
we
No,
need new software to go with the equipment.
With the old equipment.
yes,
The old
and she said it
equipment.
was $1,500 per machine. So her request was $3,000 in next year's budget.
That's why I was asking. I thought you were talking about painting the street and putting up signs on the police budget.
Oh, no, 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 no.
I don't know how Rachel's gonna go along with that.
Sorry about this.
The only
Well,
cost is
on
for
the-
the signs.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
So, I was gonna ask, perhaps, Lori, can you have Rachel check into whether there are grants available for those signs? They are all over the place now. And I'm wondering
We did talk about.
if there were grants to get them, because it's like, you hardly go by a speed limit sign that there isn't one flashing.
We need to get back on our point here. Thank you. Yes, Hannah.
It's very confusing. We're talking about two different.
Exactly, that's what.
But I just want to say, when we requested the 25-mile slowdown, Mike immediately thought, because of the density of our South Manana community, that it was a no-brainer, it sounded like. So I don't know what the qualification of rural road is, but I wonder if it's contingent on density, and because we have so many clustered houses. I'm not sure, but the roadway committee seemed clear that it made sense for that density of housing to have the 25.
So I think we need to look into the getting a study done, but in the meantime, we need to address the problem. So I will make a motion to accept the recommendations of the highway roadway committee and reduce the speed limit from
35.
from 35 to 25 between Perkins and Thomas and Robbins. And allow two crossings to be painted at the barn and her house. So,
Thank you.
Today, are you gonna discuss?
yeah, please.
It's just, it didn't come up at the meeting today, but given the housing that's being built on Thomas Road, further down the road, does it make sense to post the road right from 202, all the way up around? Because there's a stop sign, it's on Thomas Road, it's like just curious, does it make sense to do the road?
I had the same thought because it's rather curvy. It was,
And you have, I don't know how many houses he's building there, I know, but there's gonna be a significant other, traffic flow on that lower part of Thomas Road.
That's Perkins.
well, there is Perkins where it meets Thomas, but he was referring to Thomas where it goes to 202 also extends down. It's Tarville.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
It's just a thought.
It's a good thought. I had the same thought, but roadway committee made their judgment. I'll go along.
How many signs is this gonna require?
You know, probably at least two.
Two?
There would have to be where it begins and then 35 where it ends. But 25,
Either side.
I mean,
Yeah.
red.
I don't know how many signs it would take.
Mike's
Mike
gonna
will
have
be
to come up with
concerned.
that money, he's gonna have to come up with the painting money. I got no problem with it. Roadway committee vote for it, 4-0, each of the issue. I read that. Despite putting up a 25-mile-an-hour sign and crosswalk painting. Doesn't mean anything. Nope, not a single thing, and I wouldn't plan on having it repainted every year until we see how drastically the speeds drop. And Rachel, with her new software, might be able to monitor that. And as was pointed out today at the meeting, down at the bottom of Payson Hill, it's 35 miles an hour coming out of Cathedral. And there's a red flashing stop sign. It did not stop that man from driving right through it and killing them lady at the corner. I happened to be there that night. Wasn't pretty. And guess what? We had a speed limit. We had a red flashing stop sign. Didn't even slow that car down.
Observation. Jim Chrysler.
I'm sorry, we have a motion on the floor
You don't have a second again.
and we don't have a second
Oh,
and we don't have a vote. So
I'm just pointing out that she can try this as an experiment, see what happens.
Yeah.
Wouldn't trouble them much. I got only a speed limit signs on my street.
I'll agree with you, Bob.
Rachel has clocked people on Route 119, it's 55 mile an hour zone. She clocked them at 142 miles an hour.
And I drove West Main for 20 years and didn't realize it was 25 miles an hour.
So, yeah.
I think Rachel was looking at it, and Mike agreed, he thought a sign on either end, if I'm not mistaken. Just as you come to the corner of Robinson going forward and up the hill, and went the other end at the top of it, right where the two roads meet, and, Mike's got $3,000 in his budget for it, so I don't see him spending that before the end of the year. And he's only spent 700 of it, so I think he can put a couple signs.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Roberta,
If he has money in the sign budget, can the one on Main Street by the dump be replaced? There has not been a speed limit sign there.
could you take her to our road, first
It's
roadway
I
committee?
keep looking, trying to find the bar where it got shaved off.
Well, the stop sign at, Woodbound and South Woodbound has been run over, so I don't know what that looks, but that's a T intersection,
That
also.
happened this weekend.
Yeah.
Did Mike get out there yet?
I didn't notice, but,
I'm writing them now.
okay, thank you very much. All right, thank you, Hannah, for your filling in for Ron. Thank you.
Did cones.
Yeah.
Hannah Road.
Thank you so much.
She left us a
Okay. Jim, did you have something?
Just quick. For to address the issue involved. The enforcement is an issue, certainly. That's a different thing. However, when you drive erratically or break the law, you crash, you kill someone, and the signs are already there, when it gets to court, it doesn't go down well. So the idea of posting for speed control, when an accident happens and it goes to court, all of that information comes in to the court procedure. So that's why you put a sign up. Irregardless of state.
I don't disagree, I'm not saying take the speed limit signs down, but we could put up 5 times as many as we have right now.
And
They still won't obey them.
nope, and those little girls have to look both ways before crossing, even in the crosswalk.
Not for anything, we've had more young kids in this state killed in car accidents this year than ever.
Okay. All right, let's get back to ARPA updates. Sorry about that. Air quality assessment, town office quotes. And then we have the fire department tanker quote. I know Casey is pitching for that one. So, do we want to do that one first, fire department?
Oh, you take care of air quality.
Okay, air quality.
Perfect.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm waiting on another updated quote.
You have two.
Yep, I have two, but one is measuring for mold and one is not. So I want them to be exactly same. Another week. We can give
Sounds good.
It was the one that was more expensive of the two actually should be done. And it measured the outdoor quality
Yeah.
of air also.
Right, which is
So
what you
so
asked
that's
for.
what I'm waiting for, because I asked if they can also add mold to this, because the green home that incorporated that, they
Yeah.
were a little bit less money, but I thought this one was solid.
Got it. Okay,
So I just wanted
Thank you.
updated for that, so.
and we'll,
I thought the other one, the more expensive one, was much more costly.
Me too.
thank you. Thanks for your work on that.
Maybe two you want to include, right?
Fire department tanker quotes.
Casey Burge, representing the Ridge Fire Department tonight. We have received 2 separate quotes for the repair of the tank. I believe you haven't seen them yet.
This one's the repair of it. Oil works.
Oh,
So, and this is gonna get confusing. There is 4 quotes in front of you. 2 of the quotes are for the pump. 2 of the quotes are for the replacement of all the emergency lighting in the truck. So one is from Greenwood, one is from Specialty Vehicles, Inc. I'm gonna talk about the pump first. So the pump, as we have discussed prior, has failed the pump test. It is leaking. It is not able to be repaired. The similar pump is available. It would be a replacement essentially in kind. And both companies are quoting the same basic Hale EP50 pump. They are drastically different in amount. But as far as we can tell, it is the same basic work.
right. So where is it at now, Greenwood?
It is currently a specialty vehicle.
What specialty vehicles? Okay.
That's the one you were gonna move it to, because you had this one first, right?
Correct. It went to Greenwood first, as the truck came from Greenwood.
Correct.
And then since specialty was down the road, it is there now.
And are you recommending specialty on the pump?
Well, we're combining them together. The other 2 quotes, one from Greenwood and one from Specialty, are to deal with replacement of the emergency lighting system of the truck. It has been problematic since it was new. The way they had mounted some of the controls for it has been an area that is subject to being wet. It's had some issues over the 20 years. Since we're investing into this truck for a new pump, which we're expecting at least 10 years of service out of it. All of the lighting system is 20-year-old technology, consistent strobes, currently working, but it has been problematic to find parts and so forth. The biggest problem that's showing up is the lenses are old, they're cracking, barely being held on.
Does that cause moisture to get inside?
Yeah.
Thank you.
So there is 2 quotes for a lighting upgrade. Remove all the strobes, all the strobe drivers, and replace all the emergency lights. So when combined together, one is, Greenwood is $33,000 in some, specialty vehicles is $32,000 in some. There is basically an $1,100 difference between the 2. Myself and the chief had a conversation, and we hashed it out back and forth. And our recommendation would be to keep it as specialty vehicles, which is also the slightly cheaper option, and have them do all of the work all in one whack.
Okay.
So I see the specialty vehicles is giving us a cute on this.
What?
Cute.
Cute.
Specialty. Okay.
Oh, yes, they did give us a cute. So,
But they are $32,000 total.
Yes, for the 2 combined together. We asked them to quote the lighting package and the pump separate.
this one probably should.
So if I did the math, maybe I did it wrong, but I've got 26.6 for specialty, does that sound right? 14,166 and 12,527 for the lighting package.
No, 17.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize.
Labor totals.
I'm sorry.
Right.
My numbers were wrong.
Okay.
I didn't realize it was on the side.
Yeah, curious how I was getting that wrong.
I know you guys have spent a lot of time working on this, and, I don't know if we can add anything to your wisdom. Any questions on, before we make a vote? Approval?
Well, the pump leaks, and I think it's important to get replaced, I expressed that at the last time. Putting the pump in together, you can pretty much forget about it, rather than chasing parts for an old pump that you rebuild. And I think that makes sense.
And the important thing on that is the chassis is sound, that maybe we can extend the life of this vehicle by 10 years.
We had an evaluation of the chassis done by State Line, and they stated the chassis was in really good condition.
Yep.
It was.
Just so happens specialty has another truck in the shop, with the same problem as we have.
Oh, really? Okay.
So they're gonna learn on somebody else's truck.
So they also,
I like that.
so it also have lighting problems on it,
At least the pump.
just the pump.
The pump is just basically leaking the same as ours.
The lighting package might have been destroyed by the leak.
It's possible, actually.
Yes, it is. That's why I was wondering about the other person's.
Right. Oh, yes.
So the lighting is actually really where the cost is you said it's been constant. That really wasn't brought up at the last time. It just said there was a problem with the lighting system.
It's kind of just an ongoing issue.
Okay.
When the truck was purchased new, it ended up going back to Greenwood for some issues having to do with water getting into the circuit board. That was reworked. A couple of years later, he was back in there. I remember 10, 15 years ago, the truck was back down in there, getting water into where all the circuits are. They mounted it kind of underneath the pump. No, sorry, not under the tank. When the tank overflows from filling it, the water runs down, runs the channel, gets down in there.
Sure.
It's also 20-year-old technology, which is strobes, which is not what we're putting in trucks. So the thought is, we're gonna keep this truck for another 10 years. And we solve the problems that we're going to have potentially now and get the lifespan out of it.
With the new lighting, would be less susceptible to corrosion from water.
And my assumption is it's all gonna be,
Will it be, is LED, let's say, less susceptible to corrosion by water?
I'm going to say yes, in that the device that gets installed, being new, has better seals on it, not older.
Okay.
And there's no moving parts associated with the LEDs.
Right.
I mean, strobes have need for higher power, they need to have the drivers. LEDs don't, they just have this switching mechanism.
Okay,
What's the,
yep,
What is it, 32K
32K.
specialty?
Yep,
You add them together, it's ever so slightly above 32.
Oh,
I
yeah,
wrote down
it's the
30,
kicker.
I wrote down 33, but
So
we're so slightly.
mine, 32, 134.
134, okay.
Would be safe at 33.
I'll be safe in 33 because I'm doing my countdown. I think I got 25K left.
I'll make a motion that we go with recommendation of specialty vehicles for the replacement of the pump and, the lighting package, rebuild and, appropriate, I'll round it out to 33,000. So that.
I'll second the motion.
We move it forward.
And I'll put it under ARPA.
Yeah.
Right.
Correct.
Okay.
And we're funded through what?
Funded through ARPA. I, all in favor?
Aye.
Good,
Can we get this through as ASAP and get a signed contract?
Yes,
thank you.
we're gonna push that through so we can get the process moving, try back here.
Excellent, thank you very much.
Because
You
you
want
know,
to walk away and other informational items, I have another fire department. I can come back to you.
Okay.
what's your time frame, basically?
The timeframe, when we first started talking about the pump, we contacted Hale. It seems like we might be looking at an 8 to 10 week lead time from Hale with the pump to the shop.
Yeah.
However, they have stated that sometimes they're being told 8 to 10 weeks, pump shows up too. I'm gonna go with the 8 to 10 and we'll be happy to clear up.
It's just important to get a signed contract so it's officially obligated to meet the requirements before the next 2 months.
Do that.
Okay, thank you.
Jason.
Thanks, Casey.
And new business, winter sand bid. Came in at, same as last year, was at $19 a yard.
It's right in line.
Yep, okay. And, do you remember what the numbers were? Oh, thank you, very good. Yeah, $19 per cubic yard, this was the same as from CNC Trucking, and it's the same as last year. Anytime I see the same as last year, I say yippee. So, I would, and he is, this is the only bid he got, I think that's what's the case. So I move that we accept the CNC Trucking Company for sand at 19 a yard.
I'll second the motion.
Thank you, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye,
Yes.
okay,
Especially since this is the only bid we got.
yeah, well. So, all right, then we have electricity rates. We had, do you want to address that, Lori? Yeah, right now.
I would like to hear what you guys say. I think, Bob, you understand the power quoted about 9%.
Right.
And I believe that includes the hydroelectric that we get. Pat may know more, and so maybe, I think maybe, county power had.
Cheshire County, you mean?
Cheshire.
Yep,
has
8%.
9%. Leave that 9%.
8 cents.
8 cents.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
I'm in percentage, yeah. Thanks for a little lot out.
I use community because it's cheaper. So the,
I looked on it, looked through Eversource, they looked, Think Energy, which used to be cheap, it's not as cheap as community power of New Hampshire, Cheshire County. That's the cheapest,
That's the cheapest.
cheapest.
That's what, 8.6 or 8.9.
8.6.
And I meant,
That's for 6 months, and you just have to monitor.
correct. I think, the one thing that I pointed this out to Lori, just when we were talking about it briefly, Standard Power is charging more, but they're not actually the supplier listed on the bill. And I can't recall the name.
Constellation.
Is it Constellation?
Constellation, but they're an they're an aggregator, so they go to many different suppliers. They go out and collect bids from many different suppliers.
Because I was gonna look at the list that I gave with the last meeting on this, to see if I saw them on that list, Constellation. And I did not have that opportunity.
Standard Power doesn't provide any power, they just do contracts.
Correct, and so we're paying more, or paying a half more for the
To Constellation.
to Standard Power. Because we're paying Standard,
Yeah.
and Constellation is their supplier, so I go with the cheapest one. And then make a note that we just review it, they've been consistently from
Okay,
Cheshire County.
and can we drop out at any time?
Yes.
Community power. Okay.
Yes, you can.
You can
That's
jump
what I
in,
thought.
you can jump out.
Exactly.
I think that-
I'll change. Okay, Pat?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, what was the length of time that Standard Power was talking about?
Be a 1 year.
So just keep in mind that, the rates tend to bounce up as we go into the new year. So,
February will change.
right,
They didn't change much in August, but they went from like 8.2 to 8.6 or whatever the current rate is.
You do get
Didn't change much.
the checks back from Hydro, which I'm not sure what the total is, but I know
it's about the cent,
so.
about half the cent. So,
That's what we're paying to Standard, so. That they're probably getting it. That's good enough. I don't know.
Okay. So,
Yeah, the problem was, as was pointed out, standard. So we got into a decent deal when we first got in. We got locked in for 2 years and now we're paying far more than even Eversource.
Well, I think you're right. I think what Pat pointed out, we have saved money over the long haul. I think the shorter contracts is where you gotta pay attention, and especially like plots for rent, you gotta really pay attention. If we're paying, what, 15 cents or something now, I think it's plus 14.
And Pat,
Again, from Farrow Road, from Farrow Road. Bob Hayden did an analysis of the last 10 years. And over the last 10 years, we saved about $50,000 compared with if we had stayed with Eversource default. So, and it's about equivalent to 26 homes or 25 homes in range, and that would come to, I think it's $2,000 per family over 10 years, or 200 a year. So, I mean, it's not gonna change anybody's life, but it's significant money.
it all ends up.
Yeah, it does. I think really our question is gonna be that, do we pay the extra money, which is really over the course of the whole year is a whole lot of money, but lock it in for one contract and then review it again next year
Right.
in a 1-year term instead of a 6-month term, because the rates may change again, in February. I think Cheshire County has been pretty consistently low every time I looked over the last year. So I think that's really our decision, to stick with a 1-year contract, look at it when it season next year, or do we, for a penny, I don't know our total kilowatts off the top of my head anyway, but it's not going to not go up. Well, I know you probably do, but I don't have it off the top of my head. I have it written down at all.
So, well, yeah,
170,000.
So it's not gonna amount to a whole lot, $1,000. Not even. It's 175, is your number?
I mean, can I
please.
so the thing is, it's fine, like, the Cheshire community probably will continue to do a good job of aggregating. They're doing the same thing that Bob Hayden is doing, just aggregate. We probably could stay with them. But I'm just saying, you might be surprised come February, because that's when the rates tend to bump up. And Bob's giving you a quote for a whole year. You're getting like 6 months from Cheshire Community Power. Come February, they could go up a penny or two. And the thing is that if you're gonna watch it, you think you have to assign it to somebody. And that's gonna be, start adding up their hourly salary for searching online for cheaper rates. So just,
Yeah, I don't have the exact number, but pennies over the number she gives at $1,700.
Yeah, but, it's $1,700.
Sorry,
But,
1,750.
I'm just, in terms of the math, it's a difference of about 11% compared to 9% versus 8%. So-
but it's like a half a penny, something like that. It's not a whole penny. But this is that's the payback, that's the reimbursement you get for a hydro. Right? Yeah. So you'd have to subtract like a half a penny from the rate that Bob is charging. to
Okay,
Get that money.
so we have the advantage of the hydro funds.
Correct. It's
Okay.
like a half percent, something like
So you have the exact number, Laura?
Maybe, well, he hasn't given me anything. I thought it was today they were gonna like walk something in here.
that. Yeah.
I think she gives the exact number and then just there, it's really, that's a decision. A year or 6 months, my vote.
He said it was.
We should have known from this now.
Right,
Yeah.
if we move on it and it comes back at something, we can change it.
So what's your flavor?
I'm,
1 year or 6 months?
well, with whom?
Huh?
With whom?
That's what I'm saying, you got there two
So,
vendors.
With 1 year with Bob Hayden and 1.5 year with Cheshire County, it's about half a penny cheaper apparently, but it could change.
So at that lower rate, I'd walk in and see if I can find it. Write it down. Sorry.
So I'm taking it your recommendation as we go with the higher cost for 1 year.
If it were me, I think that's just, I don't know.
I can work with it, I think it makes sense. What do you think? We'll be good with either one, I think.
I think so.
Yeah, the 1 year.
They're both better than we have now.
One of them is a nonprofit, the other one is a for-profit company. So the for-profit is making money off this, the nonprofit's trying to stay underneath. When they knew when Community Power in New Hampshire found out that Eversource was gonna lower their rate significantly, all of a sudden, CPC and H lowered their rate below it. So they always seem to be below the competition, maybe only by a half percent. They always seem to be a little bit below it. They couldn't beat Think the last time, but this time they did.
Just keep in mind, February is when the rates go up.
What do you want to do, Bob? I'll make a motion. We're paying 15 cents now, so whatever we do is better.
Yeah, like I said, I'd like to do it now, start saving the money right now.
Great.
Make a motion.
So now it's, but we'll get 4 more months out of this, and 2 more months, and we can get out and get into something different.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, let's get into Community Power in New Hampshire, Cheshire County.
And
It will
then
take
be
2
ready
months
to
to switch. I will point that.
It's after the meeting.
for our towns.
It will take about 2 months to switch.
Because I was almost instantaneously.
I know mine took almost 2 months, 2 bills.
Okay.
So
Is that true?
Kyle will be monitoring the electric rates.
Oh, I'm not.
CPC and H also, because he does have them.
Your side.
Is there a motion?
That's my motion, is to get our power with, Community Power Coalition in New Hampshire, Cheshire County.
Trying to do the math here. It's October already. So we only have about,
Almost November.
it's almost November, yeah.
And so we'll get it 3 to 4 months at this rate.
In November, I don't know where our bills come out off the top of my head, I should have grabbed them. But You're probably gonna get a couple months.
So we're gonna get some savings right off the bat.
Standard power, it won't be that low. You won't have.
It'll be instant, because you're already in your system. I can go either way. So I'll follow whoever wants to do
I
it.
don't have any,
We're spending 600 or 700.
you can't get anything in writing from Standard Power.
Well, that's why I think we should get the rig and go from there. You need to get an official number.
They gave us a figure and they said, well, it's only good till next Wednesday.
Is that true?
I think if it changes, right, when they're aggregating.
It changes every day, I guess.
So,
Yeah, I can only go by when I was involved and they would give us like 24 to 48 hours to get paperwork signed from when they announced the rate. So, honestly, either one is probably pretty good, but I think that come February, you're gonna see.
Right. My only concern is if this thing about how long it takes to convert, if we went with community power, we wanted to get out of it, wouldn't we be able to get the new rates when we signed up?
No,
It has to go through every source.
Yeah, I
it's
know
an
that.
announcement in February, get that swing.
So it takes that long to switch?
No, for them to announce new rates. If you're on a 6-month thing, you don't know ahead of time.
No, I know that. So if we went on the community power for 3 months and then we switched, could we switch at the rates?
Could you switch
Yeah.
back to Bob Ham?
Yeah.
To Bob Hayden? I think you have to ask.
you wouldn't be guaranteed the 9%, it'd be whatever
It's the new rate is.
When they come.
I'm just reluctant to lose the expertise that we have.
I love the idea of Cheshire, I have Cheshire, but, if it's going to just be a month or so, I think we go with, Bob. And, so I would make that motion and then sign it for a year, get that nailed down. I think we'll, and then we get instantaneous now.
We can stay with, what's the name of the company?
Standard.
Standard,
State Power. They sell it.
yeah,
We could stay with them for now. We need something in writing, just keep asking, 2 weeks, at least, for something in
I think
writing.
when I give him the board approved, the 9%, it's send it out in the cover.
9 cents.
One day. And, I will give you guys the document. I think I would need approval to sign it.
Let's go that route. Let's get an
We
official
should probably
number.
get it next meeting.
Yeah. All right, well, if we approve that tonight,
We'll approve it again when we get.
we can approve it tonight, and we can all sign it when we get the documentation in hand.
if it doesn't come in hand, we have community power.
That's correct.
We can save money and
Sounds good,
a little extra.
all right,
That gives us some time for it.
thank you.
Then let's all longer CPCRH and the other benefits.
So do we need a motion to do that?
We need a motion to,
So I'll make the motion that we
Just
we
stay.
move forward with Standard Power, pending an official document to be approved, with the final rate for the next 12 months.
okay, I'll second it, all in favor?
All right,
Aye. Okay. We have a health and flexibility spending and health insurance stipend. We were talking about changing some of this, so, Lori,
Yeah, so.
Lori May,
Yeah, both of us will try to do, yeah. So, actually, I'm just gonna turn it over to Lori for the flexible spending. We have that now with,
Yeah, we currently have this flexible spending, it's in the employee policy. Each year, at least one employee brings up that we want that amount to be increased. The federal maximum is currently at 3,200, and next year it'll be at 3,300. Our maximum is 1,040. This is a pre-tax thing. It comes, yeah, 1040. Comes out of the employees pay directly. They pay for it. The advantage of having it is that it's pre-tax. They're not paying taxes on it. This can be used for things like eyeglasses or, crabs, anything, kind of, or medical things that aren't covered by insurance, co-pays, any out-of-pocket medical expenses can be done. Eyeglasses, prescriptions, medical prescriptions, deductibles, eyeglasses, that kind of stuff. Currently, 3 employees are using it. They're 8-year long employment employees. Another one that's been here like 3 years. Through discussions with health trusts, they were asking what our maximum was. And they were saying that it's a good benefit because to increase it, because the employees, they're going to try to drum up business for it. It's a good benefit. So when they come out next Thursday, they did, not next Thursday, the Thursday afterwards, to discuss the new health insurance with the employees. That will be part of their training, how to use this reimbursement plan, and how it benefits them. They're asking for an increase to this, from this 1040 up to somewhere in between.
who is asking for an increase?
The employees that are using it.
Okay, thank you.
The IRS specifies the use of it, how it runs, And one of the things with the IRS specifications is that if an employee leaves at some point during the year, and has used the amount that they signed up for, they don't have to pay it back. On the alternate side, if an employee leaves at the end of the year and has had all of his deductions taken out of his wages, but hasn't used it for purchasing any of those items, all of that money comes to the town. So it's on both sides.
There's no cost to the town unless the employee leaves
Yeah,
with
having used that.
having used that.
So if someone had an emergency right into the year, starting it, they would use it, and if they had to quit or whatever,
Yeah.
then it would be a cost to the town. But if this is why I've never done it, this, the idea of risking all that money, and putting it away, then not using it, it's all forfeit.
But there's no reason that anybody should not use it, because the IRS opened it up a few years back. They can use it for general medical things like Band-Aids and aspirin.
Right.
So, and a couple of these have multiple children, so I could see that they could really use that.
I mean,
Okay.
one crown, if you use it for dental, it's $900.
Yeah. I thought,
You're paying, yeah, and that's all, but that's all of your,
that's all.
that's your whole dental thing, and then plus $900.
If you can get a crown for $900,
Yeah.
tell me where.
That's half of it. The other half is covered through insurance, is what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
Insurance right now, and had to,
Right,
yeah.
okay.
So what are we at right now?
1,040.
What,
For 1040?
Yeah.
40.
Yeah, and it's been that for as long as I've been here.
The federal level is
It increases every year.
pretty,
It's 3,300, going up to 3,300 in 2025, is 32.
What do the employees think that they need or want?
Like something within 10.
What?
They want something other than 1040.
1041. What do they want?
Okay, they would like the maximum. That's what they would like.
I could see going up to 2,000 or something like that, see how it works out this year. The employee's taking a risk too.
Yeah, the money's coming out of their check each week.
See how it works out. It's not costing us anything at all. And we didn't lose anything. The only way we can lose money is to chase away an employee.
Yeah, right.
Would you be okay with 2,500? That's the number I was thinking.
What do you think, Tom?
The max is the max. I think we could split it. We're going 1,000 now, I think going to 2,000. So 2,500, I'm getting below 1,000. It's a difference with $3,300. It's $3,300. It's the max.
Only 25. Oh, very good.
Yeah, so, yeah. $1,500. So we'll go up for 2,000. I can go either way, I think. It's a good thing. I personally,
Try the 2K, see how it works out.
impossible. We can up it again next year too.
How many employees we got? 3?
3 that are currently using it, but I anticipate with them coming in to do the training in 2 weeks. I think there might be more, but I think it'll probably be smaller amounts to start with, just to try it out.
I don't like.
Is the, there's 3 people using it now. And if they use the entire amount, those 3 people, that's the reasoning for wanting it to go up.
Yeah, because it.
Well, I can see them do 1040 very quickly.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
All
that's
those plans.
what we go to 2,000, we're giving almost 100% increase this year to try it out.
okay.
I think that's fair. We can adjust it again, readdress it next year, let's see how it goes.
You can probably change it at any time, really.
Kevin,
Well, the other thing is it has to go into the employee manual, so all employees have to be notified about it, so there is a little bit of a cost, but so I couldn't be.
that's a good
Wait,
point.
no, hold on a minute, because it's IRS rules, I think it has to be a certain time of year, so I would say, which you're then,
Okay, that makes more sense to me. If they're gonna,
What would you recommend?
um,
You talk to the employees.
I would say the maximum, because that's the maximum, I mean, they've been at this rate, well, one of them's been here for 8 years, and it's been that rate. So he's lost out a lot of money, through all that time.
Do you have a sense of how much, did they want to say how much they actually spent on medical, with a bunch of children and things like that, which I know could run.
Just that they said that they could have used the full amount.
Got
doesn't really cost the town anything. Comes out of their pay, and if they want, instead of $50 a week, whatever it is, the number they want to move on, 150. That's their dollars. It's going into their account. They can use it pretty much any way they want. It's tax-free money, basically. That's the advantage. So, yeah, see, the tax, no, they don't pay anything when they use the account, so. I can go to the max if you want, whatever you guys decide.
Actually, so next year, that's gonna be 33.
We could make a policy that it tracks with whatever the IRS amount is, or you could just set it flat. I mean, that's a huge increase right there.
Yeah,
Why don't we just, well, when I said 2,000, you said 2,500. I was thinking the employees, I think we're talking the employees need, I think, why don't we just go to 3,000 and call it quits? Because if they're the ones really that are gonna use it, then that makes more sense.
you want to make a motion?
This to the, yeah, I'll make a motion that we, adjust the health insurance flexible spending amount up to $3,000 for the coming year, 2025.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. And now we have a final item.
Well,
Oh, I'm sorry, the other half of this,
go back to that, so while we're.
flexible spending.
While we're reevaluating all our health insurance, I thought it would be good to point out a few of the stipend amount that we get, that we give to our employees that don't take health insurance. It's currently 3,500, and, I wanted to just bring it to your attention that many towns are up as high as 10,000 for, I'm guessing they did this based, I don't know when the last time they reevaluated the health insurance was, but it seems to be like 50% of the,
Cost.
50% of the cost of the family plan. So if it's 2,600, it'd be 13, blah, blah, blah. And then, two family, so I did some research, and obviously over the summer, there's a, email group, people that, what do your towns do, and just compiled some information. Most towns are generally between 5,000 and 10,000 for the stipend. And it may help reduce the cost. Some employees, their spouse might have it. They say, oh, we, can get a, $6,000 stipend for the town, so it may help to offset and then not pay the cost of the health insurance. So I was proposing, we did the breakdown of like the packages for family. So obviously like half of our family plan is like 13,000. But if we went with, and that's also different. So right now, no matter what plan you're on, you get 3,500, whether you're single, two family, or family. But I would propose going with offering the benefit of a family plan being 9,000, the two family 6,000, and the single 3,000.
That would be a reduction for singles.
It would be $500, yeah.
What's the cost of this individual plan under the new?
Was double those amounts.
Yeah.
Well, it's not all those amounts. Family
It was
plan,
more.
I'm not talking about family, I'm talking about individual, the employee.
Yeah, the interesting lost that open, I think it was 13 or 14.
So it was 26,000.
oh, 13 for two. We should
No,
have.
I thought it was,
13,000.
I think it's 13,000 per single credit. I
Yes.
feel like health, or interlocal was.
And it was like 20 for two person.
Got it, okay.
Um,
All right.
I'll tell you what my feeling is, I'm inclined, what's that?
I said, I already know.
I'm inclined to leave it right where it is, and because if you decide not to take the beautiful health plans that this town offers, because they are pretty good
they
plans,
really are.
we shouldn't be rewarding you to go on someone else's plan that may be cheaper.
But it could save the town money too. I see your point, I see it both ways.
If I could get a plan for twice, if I had to go with my wife's employer, and get a plan that was cheaper than what I'm paying to this town, that'd be in a better plan, it'd be, why would I go over there and then I'd only do it because the town is rewarding me to do it. Otherwise,
But you're
my
saving
plan
the
might
town
be
money.
better. If they decide to take someone else's plan and get off the town's plan,
Right.
that's the only time we're saving money, but, well, I know we have a couple employees that get it through somebody else. And it's their choice because they think that plan is better or it's cheaper. And versus our plan, and I'm inclined to kind of stick.
How many stipends will be paying out per year?
Good question. Just up to you.
It really should say how many family plans, how many.
Yeah.
I still
Off
don't
the
think.
top of my head, it's like 4.
Yeah, no, they're-
And one of them, a family plan, I know that was a discussion between himself and his wife was about that stipend. I'm pretty sure that was his reason for moving over there because he was getting this, but I'll have to ask him about that. What that
He went the
conversation
other way.
was.
He picked his insurance through his spouse.
Yeah, because
Save the town money.
yeah, save us money.
So if he has a family plan now, they're earning 20, or getting 26,000 for his plan. And if we offer him instead of, or her, instead of 35, 9,000 to take a stipend and go on his wife's plan, husband's plan, then we're saving $17,000.
Correct.
I don't disagree, but our choice to take the plan one way or the other isn't ours. He could still go on his wife's plan and get $9,000 because he's already doing it now.
Oh, gotcha. Right.
He can still take the 9,000 and stay on his
That's
wife's
the
plan.
question, what are we spending now? And what this would cost us?
Correct.
Yeah.
I mean, we're willing to offer a plan and take it or leave it, basically. We're giving you a little bonus if you decide to go somewhere else.
Would you consider not breaking it out into plans and just increasing it slightly? It hasn't been increased in last year. Troy increased theirs from 2,000 to 10,000 for all employees.
No, we're trying to save the insurance costs by $100,000. Then we'll find it out if we, another situation, but we might have to pay up $2,000. We're down to 98. Now if we start doing this, we're gonna wind up being in a break-even situation by changing the healthcare system, giving away the money, and we get nowhere.
Just putting it out there, it's just good for thought, addressing kind of all the healthcare needs at once, I think is a good idea to do.
So I don't see any motion to go forward, so, okay,
I'd like to bring this by the VAC and just get varied opinions.
Yeah.
Just varied, I kind of see where I was on.
okay. All right. Is that it on the poll?
Yeah,
And did we ever approve the new health plan that we're,
we did.
okay, got it, just want to make sure. And we have an intent to cut.
Is that gonna go, Lori said they're gonna start signing up for that, it's open enrollment, must be.
Yeah. So that's probably gonna affect some of the health numbers, right, that we put out in the budget, because they can change them.
Right. When are they gonna come and give their
Not in 2
Spiel.
weeks,
2 weeks?
so not this coming Thursday, or not this Thursday, not next Thursday.
Maybe the employee.
Can we just mention in front of the public is that the employees are getting a new health care plan, we're changing it to a different one. When we did, we found out afterwards that, what was it, two persons under the old system used to cover one employee in multiple family units. Family plan was different, that costs more to get a husband, wife, and these other people on there. Well, the two-person on the new healthcare system only covers two singular people, not like one person and two children, So there are two employees within the town who would actually get an increase in their co-payment. So we're gonna use some of the stipend funds to offset their additional costs so that they will not be harmed by the change in the healthcare system. Just want to just let the public know. These are our employees, we don't want to hurt.
It was like $2,000, two employees from switching would have, saw a decrease in their paychecks, where they were quoted at the beginning that, because we put everything in as a two-family plan, that there was a couple employees that had the two-person plan that had multiple children.
So what I'm trying to say is with the stipend system, we're gonna take care of our employees.
And, yeah, thank you. Okay, we have an intent to cut, I don't have, I have a acreage lot, acreage of lot 4, it's on Sportsman's Drive. Anyway, it's, past due for when it needs to be approved. So, anyway, make a motion to, approve the, intent to cut, or I'm looking for a lot number, but I'm not finding it.
Ready to talk.
Well,
17 lot 8.
yeah,
Thank you.
page
Remember
17,
seeing it.
page 17, lot 8. I don't see lot 8. I just don't see it. Oh, I'm sorry, 17-8. Thank you. Got it, wrong line.
Conservation, get a hold of this yet? Take a look. This is down by the lake, right? Sportsman's Drive. This is definitely down by a wetland.
Oh, yeah.
Can't remember.
That definitely.
That wasn't on the table.
No,
This is not.
No, we had approved the other one.
we approved the other one pending.
Pending approval. So,
The owner.
Do you want to approve it pending Concom?
pending, notification, yeah, well, I think we need to just notify Concom on this. I think we have to approve it. Well, let's do it the same way, sorry. Pending approval of Concom.
Yeah, contact for getting hold of the people.
Right.
We have this, should have a telephone number or something.
Yeah, it's,
Contacts down.
Yeah,
and Hanover. Yep, here's,
okay,
what's the phone number? Yep,
that's a person over at Key, something.
right.
All right, let Concom know. They will pass this, pending they're checking it out, make sure that everything's fine.
Exactly.
These people at Sportsman's Club know exactly what they can do. They should know that anyway, they've got a logger, right? They're not.
Yeah, that's, well,
They're not doing it themselves.
the fellow listed here is the forester. So
Okay.
he looks like he's putting in
Yep.
That application. So I'll second call.
I mean, it's the Sportsman's Club is doing it. They're the ones.
Right.
So.
Yep.
They cut down.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Any other official business come forward?
Chairman, may I?
We did have,
Okay, well, let's do Casey first. Thank you. Okay,
Casey Burge, representing the Ridge Fire Department. We happen to have a four-wheeler and trailer that was acquired from the police department quite a few years ago. The police department, some years ago, they did an MRI survey that decided they didn't need it, we transferred it over to the police department. The point of why I'm here is I'm requesting permission from the board to see if I can get rid of it and what process to get rid of it. Since we have had it, we haven't used it on any incidents. We don't really have a practical need for it. It's set up as a recreational four-wheeler, not as a utility four-wheeler. Over the years that we've had it, it gets maintenance, then it needs more maintenance, we get new tires. It's not getting enough love, it's not getting run enough, then carburetor problem. And right now it doesn't run, hasn't run for quite some time. The trailer that came with it has been outside of the weather. The plywood decking is beginning to have weather-related problems, water sitting on it, snow sitting on it, one of the tires is bad. I really would just like to take this whole entire thing, put it in the dumpster.
probably didn't have much value to it, or?
I really have no idea how much value. It's not running. So therefore, I don't know what value it would have. But because it's town property, at least I'm asking permission to get rid of it. And how do I go about getting rid of it?
thank you for not just putting it in a dumpster because somebody will find it and report it.
Yeah.
When they pick it.
Okay. So is it marked, vehicle, official vehicle? Is it painted fire department or?
It still has the Ridge police stickers on it. And it has the LP plate on it, which will have to go away. I think it has blue lights on it still. Even after we acquired it, the police department would borrow it and take it over to the Festival of Fireworks.
Yep.
In Jaffrey, and use it over there, that's why I think it still has the blue lights on it. But they were using it more for that after they got rid of it.
Can we just put it out in the paper, seal bids and get rid of it?
Yeah, do we,
Take all the markings.
we must have something on it, must have a year and model and all that stuff.
I can work with you on it.
Yeah, you're right, just put that in the paper, let somebody,
Seal bids, put a date on it a month from now and
chances are, it's been sitting around the counter, it's over,
that
that's
is where it is.
Yeah.
I know that a small critter has been storing snacks in it.
The air filter?
No.
Yeah. I like that.
We put it on something that we don't have to pay that.
Can I find some means, Facebook pages and so forth, put an ad out there, seal bids.
You can do that on the county website too.
And
So as long as you tell the people what it is, what year it is, what model and all that stuff. It is not running
The
right
paper
now.
is just more broadly. I mean, I don't look at Facebook at all, so.
They might only bid, you know, $50 to $100, you know?
Right.
But it'll take it off your hands.
And it'll balance our budget.
And tell them, It's a package deal. You gotta take the trailer too, okay? Package deal.
And the money goes to the fireman's bowl.
Got rid of the boat that way.
Yeah, that would be good. Donation goes to support the fire department. That's a great idea. We'll just put that.
So
That's the
that's
fireman's
something
ball.
I'll post it on social media to, get solicit sealed bids. I'll just avoid the paper because of the cost associated with it.
Okay.
And we'll let you know what you come back.
Yeah, that's a wonderful.
Let's give it 2 weeks and see if you get any response.
I'll
Be
make.
back in 2 weeks and then we'll get rid of it.
I'll second the motion. And,
We'll let Lori, Casey work it out.
Sounds like we got that covered.
Just advertise tonight's meeting.
right,
Vote there.
you had other information?
Well, we have
Good, I'm good.
Good, thanks, Jason.
I thought you were trying to close this out and go home.
Yeah.
Oh, no. I
Survivors have over.
asked if there was any more business before to come forward, but I said it with too much enthusiasm.
You didn't vote though, did you?
We voted an abstention. I'll make a motion. You second? All right, I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
I'm also confused by that.
Yep. I'm sorry, Lori. Getting punched out.
I think, well, I just have one quick thing with the town report. Anyone, Victoria got 3 quotes for, this year's town report and the voters guide. And, I'm proposing to go with RC Brayshaw again. We've gone with them for the past probably 5 years, I think. They came in at $4,583 for.
Isn't that less than it was before? Oh, it was 54 or something last year.
I think that was a total. So it's $4,583 for the town report, but $1,895 for the.
Okay,
So
sorry.
I'm probably thinking of the total, so it did come in a little bit over, but, Minutemen Trust was $7,988. And $2,000 for the voters guide. And we had Silver Direct out of Swansea, I believe.
Pass it on, one more.
And they quoted 800 at $5.50 each, which was right around, I think it was actually just under our Brayshaw, $100. And $15.75 for the voters guide. While I was going over the budget with Tina on the BAC this morning, she asked why we get 800 of these, and I said, that's what we've always done in the past. I know I did, see about, reducing that number, but you guys didn't want to do that last year. And then I also pointed out the fact that the back 67 pages are the,
Tax.
it's the property
Yes.
tax. Everybody's property parcel ID is 67 pages,
It
and
should be sorted by name.
it adds 67 colored pages to the document.
It
So
should be black and white.
they are, but you're still paying 67 pages for that, and the report that's generated back in January is not the same 2 months later. It's different. It changes as we update and as properties change. And so it's just, I'm throwing this out there at you guys. We ran some numbers, and if you want, we could save about $1,700 by cutting the quantity to 500 and eliminating the thing in the back.
I would think it would be more savings if we're cutting it from 8 to 5. Also, how many did we have left over from last year?
None.
So we're reducing it from 8 to 5, and
It's available online. And I don't know how many, see, I'm throwing it out there, that's why I said. So I was asked by someone, the budget advisor.
No, it's
why,
a good
and I
question.
explained, and I said I will put it before you guys again.
Okay, thank you.
You ordered 800, it's at least 800 have gone up.
Yes.
That's why.
Are there any left over?
Not that I'm aware of.
Right, I think we usually run out a month after an issue. We save a couple for that.
We do save a couple. I think most of them go voting day,
Okay.
as they should. But I just.
I would say the eight, in terms of the voyeurism that people have to find out what their neighbors was going for.
But you can get that right online.
No,
Not easy.
We can save money by getting rid of the 67 pages. We should have done it last year because it was not in alphabetical order, so it was useless anyway.
It was
So
so.
we should have, or we got coming out, we should have done it last year. It was published the 67 pages correct this year.
Alphabetical.
I don't
make sure it's.
I use it all the time. Truly do, look up addresses of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So I would,
If it was alphabetical.
So, I would be inclined to go with the 800. I would be inclined to go with your recommendation. And because they've been a good company with us and have been able to get changes and everything out in a very expeditious manner. So I would make a motion to go with your original, the current agency, which is what again?
RSP Bridge,
RC,
Bridge.
Gracia, how do you spell that?
BRAYSHAW.
Rachel Swansea.
They are in West London.
Yep, okay. Swansea's the other one, that's a little cheaper. Would be,
Yeah, but that was,
I just want one that will be reliable. We had one company, one year. They produced them down around Rhode Island or something.
right.
So this is, they couldn't deliver them on time.
And I've worked with this company before when I had the report
They
myself, and they
do
were,
work with the towns and understand it.
exactly. No, I would recommend RC Brayshaw, at their current, what was the quoted cost?
4583 for the annual report and 1895.
Okay.
And that could vary too, depending on the length of our voter's guide. We have
Right,
8 warrant articles or we have 18.
Just keep the color out of it. Keep the cost down.
It was quoted in color because I think that kind of pulls the reader's attention in.
the postage guide,
It was
It's
in
just
color,
colored paper, right?
colored 8
colored.
on paper, so something stands out.
Right.
more.
The town report was only the cover, front and back cover was color, and the rest was all black and white,
Except for the dedication.
except for the dedication. Okay.
Still like the ones got black and white or minimal color. Pay a lot of money for the boys.
Yeah, I think if you put it on a yellow piece of paper and it's black and white, it's gonna stand out when it comes in your mailbox and just readable on.
Are you talking about the voters guide?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Let me hand out. Okay.
Mail.
Yeah, we mail it.
Nailed. Okay,
I think the key is to identify it in the mailbox.
Yeah,
White,
okay.
black and white paper, but if you put it on colored paper, it's gonna have a lot of cost. But if you print text in different colors,
right.
then that costs
The color print.
It's
It's a lot.
quoted for.
Yeah.
colored text.
Like we did last year.
Let's see what the black and white is on colored paper. We'll go with that.
That sounds like a nicer alternative.
But you'll see it anyway. before.
Thank you. Okay. Sounds good. And so basically I made a motion to accept RC Brayshaw for the voters guide and the town report at, 4583 and 1895. Second?
So
Okay.
I'd like to cut the cost of the boys.
Yeah. And let's check out a cheaper alternative for voters guide. Okay?
Right.
Thank you.
Do I have a second on that?
I did a second.
I'd say that
Yep. And, do you have something to add before we vote?
Just wanted to mention about the pie chart that's printed in there. I mean, difficult. to
Oh, the pie
understand.
chart
Yeah.
is not good in black and
That
white.
might be why it's colored. By chart.
That and people don't just throw it away,
Mhm.
like with our logo on it.
Well, nothing, the two costs, that's all.
Okay.
See what the difference.
I'll do,
Like-
I'll
Hey,
have
it's-
it full once we get it all. Like I said, we could have, depending on how many warrant articles we have, or
Okay,
So we'll approve up to that amount of.
we'll approve up to that amount. And, I'm sorry, and Carlos, did you have something
Yeah.
to add?
You want it to look good because you want the budget to pass. You want people to be grabbed by it and to go out and use it, so.
But the full budget doesn't benefit anybody.
Right.
That's a pretty significant increase last year.
All right, anyway, I voted, we need to vote. We have a motion and a second, and all in favor? Aye. Okay, thank you. Is there anything else?
I have one more, but I think Bob will cover that in or something.
So we are at informational and all that now?
Yeah, yeah.
All right, yeah, it's just a report from the meeting, House Oversight Committee. I'll give Carla a hands up too on this now. She walked in just as we were walking out the door. What we looked at was trying to finish up the job at the meeting house. It's going great right now. It's really starting to look sharp. What we want to do is repoint, this was part of the LCHIP grant, to repoint around the base of the building, all the brickwork, so that will be stable again, once again, keep the bricks in place. So we have up to $7,500 in LCHIP money still left for the pointing, the repointing of the brick. What we need is a little bit more money to repair some of the ramp. There's actually a hole in the top of the ramp which allows water to go through, which is actually pushing one of those bricks, the huge bricks, is set pushing out from frost and all that.
Or ice living in.
Exactly. So we want to fix that up. So we got two bids on it. Although Mike prefers to go with a company, Stebbins, the guy who did the painting, we got a bid from another company, Spiker. I think they're local company. And they can guarantee that they'll have it done by the end of November. But their cost is $7,300 for the repointing, which is covered by the LCHIP grant, so that's a wash. Not asking for anything, but they want $2,900 to repair the ramp. But I'm asking this board, is for permission to take $2,900 out of our reserve fund for the meeting house to pay for the repair of the ramp. I think ultimately, and it's been mentioned, the ramp probably should be changed out, roll into what I recommended wood, maybe with the plastic wood top on it. But Mike mentioned even we might eventually have to go to aluminum, something like that. But this, we can't just let it fall apart. And the hole was fixed, starting to get sliced on the top of that ramp. Okay. So what I'm asking the board is for permission to expend $2,900 to repair the ramp, the handicap ramp, from the monies that we already have taken.
I'm assuming that's a motion. I will second it.
That is a motion.
Thank you. All in favor? Aye.
Thank you.
Okay.
We're almost done with this project.
Those should look good. They took another set out.
Yeah, they're doing a great job. Steeple looks fantastic. The building looks great. Really happy, really proud.
Yes, the clock.
Yeah.
Really fast.
Clock is awesome. So we just gotta finish this up. The LCHIP grant would not cover the repair of the ramp, unfortunately. trying.
It's not this one.
So the company we're gonna use is a company, Spiker.
So, Bob.
Yeah.
I don't know if I think I already used the email, but this was the,
Yeah, there was a split flop
yeah,
on the other one.
yeah.
Stebbins would have charged us $38.50 for the ramp, for the repair of the ramp. So we would have been putting up more money for the repair of the ramp had we gone with Stebbins. Might have been the preferred contract, but this other one was well over 900 less.
Okay,
I already talked to Mike.
all right, thank you. Capital improvement update. It says on here, schedule, take budget schedule.
Oh, yeah, was there, so I thought maybe you could do a couple of movement actions.
We're gonna meet again in a month, and we're still waiting for some information from the couple of departments. Mike submitted some stuff. Rachel was on vacation, we hadn't received anything from Rick. We had some numbers plugged in, but we're gonna kind of wait to see what comes from the other departments if they were supplied any information. So, the number off the top of my head was somewhere in the 500 range, 50, probably a good closing number back to it. There was a number of items. There were one question that was, that I raised and I researched it as a little bit is that, we put money in the buildings maintenance fund. We had a pretty sizable account there. And, the committee was looking at putting another sizable amount in, but I raised the question, is it possible to use that funding for a building construction type project if we needed to replace a building, which is not going to go away, unfortunately. Maybe we should start saving for it. And it kind of got pushed aside a little bit, but I researched it in that maintenance fund is for repair and maintenance specifically. So it will come up again at the next meeting in November. We're scheduled to meet again.
The 12th.
It's the 12th, okay, the 12th. So, really not a lot was laid out. I think we just kind of got some rough numbers on it. So I think we're going to have more discussion on if we get more information from the two departments that did submit it. So that's it.
We might like to move forward and try and replenish some of the money on the meeting house fund.
Yeah, there was money going to go into that. I think one of the other things that came out, Mike's kind of hunting for another truck. We put 100,000 in his account last year. He had 0. He's looking for 150 to replace a 9-year-old truck next year. Personally, I thought that we'll try to push the truck we have for another year or two. Because if we go and put $150,000 into it, and then we're going to suck it out, it'll have 0 in this accounting year, and then 2 years later, we're going to replace another truck. Then we should probably try to stretch what we have. I have not asked for maintenance records yet, but I intend to. I know we put a lot of money in the one he has, and, unfortunately, we had ARPA money to do it, to repair that truck. But I think, we put 40,000 in it, we ought to get our $40,000 out of it over the next couple of years, but I don't know what the maintenance history on the truck is off the top of my head.
That was originally slated to be repplaced 2 years from now. And moved
Correct.
up because of the
The
repairs.
big problem we had with it, but I don't know what the ongoing maintenance issues of it is that repair, so it's worth a little more investigation. I don't know what the records are, so. That's my personal thing. It's not really a board thing, but it's, out of the box, it was around 550,000. It was a pretty big number. So, I'm sure it will get pared back a little bit. We'll see where the committee goes.
Okay.
So,
in terms of keeping that, putting into that fund, we need to, yes.
we need to save money, not just put it in and then spend it.
Right.
So I think it's gonna be a tough decision down the road. I think we need to start saving for things.
We continue,
Before we
and I
just
think,
spend it.
this has been a good, change and, we kept going for the 300,000 and, capital investments, per year, and it's outdated. We've done that for 10 years and it should have gone up with the budget. I think when we started at 300,000, it was like, 10% of the budget because it was a $3 million budget. We got a 55, a $5.5 million budget now. Theoretically, we should be saving, at a minimum of 400,000, for different projects.
Probably in about that, it's kind of like that. Somewhere last year, I think we proposed 350 or 25 or something.
Yeah. Right.
If we added the rescue payment on top of it, it's pretty close to 375 or something. Right. And so, it's gonna go up. We've got to be able to cognizant, not put it in and just spend it.
Yeah. So, there's a update on rec. I didn't bring my notes with me, but, one thing they have is they have basketball on Sunday nights, at the, Richmond Memorial School, basically adult playing. And they've got, 2 traveling teams, which is, good for those really are into basketball. And there's also a lot of rather dynamic new members of the rec committee, which is very encouraging. I think we're going to, and we're getting the issues over Tetra Park resolved a bit. And we have a contractor that was lined up, we're looking at in terms of getting the final piece of the slide, the first phase of it done, before we can look on phase 2. But hopefully this will resolve itself shortly. So, anyway, that's what I want to share.
I got a couple of things before we get out of here. We're just to shoot on. In my quest to achieve data and stuff, I'm trying to get, at least I know I got a report out of Rachel every month. And when that's for last month, almost a month past the month, so just a simple call report, and I asked a couple of questions. And I think it would be beneficial. I know we all talk to these people individually, but I think it would be beneficial not only for us, but also for the public to receive a monthly report on the first meeting of the month with our 3 big department heads. And it could be a 5-minute thing, it could be a 10-minute thing, but it's a chance for this board to ask questions in a public forum, get information, kind of get a plan for what's moving forward and what has transpired in the previous month. It would be a beneficial thing for us to have, so that we all hear the same thing at the same time. You go to the fire department and I go to my group, Bob goes to somebody else, and I talk to Rachel. I think it would be beneficial if we had that report. They can come to us and just give us a quick summary. I don't think it's a big deal for a department head to do that. The other item is I can become snow pro certified by the New Hampshire Department of Environmental Services. I've taken the course and passed the test, and I think it would be beneficial. It interested me because we've had 2 lake associations come here concerned about water quality, and since we have like a mini lakes region here in town, numerous small ponds and lakes.
17.
It's over 100, I think, but it's a big number. I think we might want to start looking at, DES has been putting this program together for a number of years for independent contractors. From a liability standpoint, for contractors, the municipalities are covered liability through RSAs. So, but contractors have not been, they get certified, they get some liability coverage. But I think it would be beneficial for us to maybe start pursuing something like this to, one, it's cost savings in salt reductions and things like that. And I don't know quite how to bring it about, but I think I think we should start pursuing that, given that we've had two of the big lake associations in town concerned about water quality.
Yep.
And I don't know when, I haven't reached out to Mike to find out what our salt production plan is. It was a very interesting thing. A lot of towns are doing away with sand completely. There's a lot of pre-treating, salt brines, there's a lot of technology. I think we should start pursuing it and probably save us money over the course of many years. So just food for thought.
Okay, I'm not sure, talking about salt reduction for saving lakes or because if we
Both.
eliminate sand.
It's actually kind of interesting. It's a big question mark, but, sand, when it's driven over, it loses it doesn't do any melting. It's not an ice control.
Extraction.
It's strictly abrasive. And after about a dozen cars drive over the sand on a big road, it kind of loses any aggregate grit that it has and becomes just a silica ball. And it actually can insulate the pavement. Believe it or not. And so it's kind of surprising. A number of towns have stopped using it altogether. They, use it on a dirt road, obviously, but it's been a quite an enlightening thing that there's a lot of science that, all of us have driven in Massachusetts. With salt brine, where you see the stripes down the road the day before it snows. I think most of us have probably seen that. Well, that's about a 40 to 50% reduction in salt on the road. It's just as effective as putting dry rocks on. So we ought to start looking at programs like this since we are kind of anyway. So we can do a poke around. DES is a big proponent. And the University of New Hampshire is offering a class. There's other classes. There's a lot to it. So.
Right, thank you. We ready to adjourn?
We need to go to bed.
Okay.
I agree with that.
Thank you. This one's signed, so let's put it in here. We have.
Oh, okay, yeah, it's been
So she
crazy
couldn't
there.
get
She left me for that.
Yeah, no, I was,
It's okay.
Let's segue to what?
We can do it, city.
What's that?
yeah, I think there's,